Cooling Weather Center.
Should see a comfortable but cool day today. Highs in the upper 60s, lots of sunshine. Lows tonight mid-40s with a clear sky. During the day on Tuesday, cooler with highs in the low 60s with a mix of sun and clouds. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 Stephanie Mead for 93 WIBC.
And I'm Harrison Silcox. On the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Hammer and Nigel.
Can you believe these characters are weirdos?
On 93 WIBC.
So let's rock it!
My name is Nigel. Jason Hammer is right over there. The funeral for fallen Richmond police officer Sierra Burton, streaming on the internet, also live locally here on TV. Hammer. It was touching. It was emotional. It was beautiful. It was heartbreaking, all at the same time. Just a touching memorial, and it's also, I don't know, I watched that, and it's so sad to watch, but also heartening and almost uplifting to see the community come together in Richmond in support of Officer Burton's family, as well as law enforcement from all over the state. And her resting place will eventually be at Crown Hill Cemetery.
You go through a whole gamut of emotions on days like today, because you're right. You want to feel uplifted, seeing a community respond in such a positive way. But at the same time, I feel angry, because this did not have to happen. This was some lunatic that was pulled over on a scooter who just started shooting at people.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the part that it's hard to get out of my head, that this did not need to happen.
She was shot in the line of duty, survived for weeks. She was even taken off life support, if you remember, and then continued to battle, an epic battle until finally succumbing to her injuries just a few days ago. They, like you said, it was a guy in a scooter. 1 minute they're chatting with him. They suspect drugs. She's a canine officer. She went to get the canine. Next thing you know, the guy pulls out a gun and fires at officers, winds up hitting Officer Burton. And we talk about it all the time. We talk about the dangers of the thin blue line, man. There is no such thing to a police officer as a routine traffic stop.
Right. And the guy, and again, I'm not going to say his name, that fired the shot that ultimately cost Officer Burton her life, this was a guy that had a long history of being violent and questions about whether or not he should have been out on the streets to begin with. It seems like we have these conversations quite a bit, but we'll save those for another day, because I do want the focus to be on the amazing memory of this fallen canine officer, Sierra Burton, from the Richmond Police Department. Some very poignant moments in the service earlier today. This is her stepmother, Amy Miller, who's also a law officer.
Sierra was my stepdaughter, but I did not see her as a stepdaughter. I saw her as my daughter. I may not have given birth to her, but in my heart, she was my daughter and will forever be. Sierra was the strongest woman I've ever known, and she recently just showed the world just how strong she was. Junior, I was honored to work beside you, and I was honored to be your bonus mom. I promise I will continue to take care of your mother and give Brev the best life ever. We will continue to love and care for baby mama. So please watch over us and rest easy, sweet girl. I love you.
Man, that's rough. Yeah, and I didn't know that law enforcement ran in the family with the Burtons. Yeah, and look, there's no distinction. If you're lucky enough to have an awesome family, which includes step parents, like I have step parents, there's no distinction between blood and, it doesn't matter if you help give birth to that person or not. That's your son, that's your daughter. And obviously that was the case here with Sierra's stepmom.
Sierra Burton's fiance also had a very poignant moment in the service earlier today.
I feel an emptiness without her here, but I will forever be thankful for the purest love she gave me and the wonderful family and friends she has that have become mine. Sierra, I promise to carry you with me in my heart everywhere I go, and to love you and live for you until we meet again, my love. Thank you.
And it's during these types of speeches where you want to cry and then you want to throw something at the same time because you
I
start
could
thinking
imagine.
about why we're in this situation. This piece of human excrement that did this, it's just so frustrating. Our friend Rick Snyder, president of the Fraternal Order of Police, he was the one that gave the prayer today.
We thank you for this life. We thank you for bringing Sierra not only into this world, but giving and sharing her heart with us. Father, you have called us to stand this line, and so we stand. We stand together, united in the call that you've placed upon our life. We remain faithful to your cause.
Yeah, something like this has ripple effects in the law enforcement community. It not only has ripple effects in the community where it happened, but it permeates out into state law enforcement as well as tributes around the country coming in for Officer Burton.
And I think one of the most important moments of these types of services, law enforcement funerals, is the 1042 call. And we're going to play you that audio here. Unfortunately, Nigel, we have gotten into a custom of hearing quite a bit of these over the years.
It doesn't get any easier, man.
It doesn't.
It's because I feel like it's so final. And it is final, obviously. But that's just it. And this is their last call, right?
Right. So technically, in terms of being a police officer, you're still on duty until you clock out at the end of the night by being 1042.
Yeah.
So in theory, Officer Burton has been on the clock this whole time until the final 1042 call. And this is one of the longer ones that I can remember. It's about 90 seconds here. We're going to play you the entire thing because I think it's very important. This is the 1042 call for fallen K-9 Officer Sierra Burton.
K-9 2, Officer Sierra Brooke Burton. On August 10th, 2022, Richmond Police Department, K-9 Officer Sierra Burton answered her final call. After being shot in the line of duty on August 10th, 2022, and following an incredibly strong and valiant 39-day fight, K-9 Officer Sierra Burton succumbed to her injuries on September 18th, 2022. Scripture says in John 15:13, "Greater love hath no man than this, that a man lay down his life for his friends." K-9 Officer Burton demonstrated commitment, professionalism, and dedication. Every moment of every day, and proudly wore the badge as a warrior for her community. Thank you for your service, Sierra, your bravery, and your commitment to your department and your profession as a K-9 officer. She has gone home now for the final time. K-9 Officer Sierra Burton, K-9 2 of the Richmond Police Department, is 1042.
And you could hear the dispatch officer choking up throughout the entire...
I was choking up. I can imagine having to be that dispatch officer and having to try to do your best to scrape together some sort of coherent final message there, because I would have been a mess for sure.
And again, the final resting place will be at Crown Hill Cemetery, in that special area they've got for fallen officers. And Nige, if anybody knows somebody that's in law enforcement, buy them a cup of coffee, tell them thank you for doing what you do, because the last couple of months have not been easy. I mean, hell, the last couple of years have not been easy. But in terms of losing officers, it wasn't that long ago. We were doing this exact same thing for Elwood's Noah Shanavaz. Yep. And now, today, we're saying goodbye to Richmond Police Department K-9 Officer Sierra Burton. Matt Baer, what's going on?
Looking at the east side, southbound 465 slows right now, 70 down to 74. And on the west side, we do have a semi that's disabled at the bottom of the ramp from southbound 465 to Rockville Road. That ramp is open but partially blocked. Traffic sponsored by Lowe's. It's the energy savings event at Lowe's. Save energy and money on select major appliances, including Whirlpool. Selection varies by location. Exclusions apply. Visit Lowe's.com for details. Valid through 9/28. I'm Matt Bear. Follow us on Twitter for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
Hey, Matt, you still with me?
Yeah, I'm here.
So all throughout the afternoon, I would imagine Interstate 70 coming from Richmond to Indianapolis, you're going to see a long motorcade. Is that the case?
It's going to be US 40.
US 40,
And
okay.
Right now, they're about 15 miles east of the Hancock-Henry County line. So as I understand, it is moving right now. Maybe Crown Hill Cemetery around 5 o'clock this evening.
Right on. Thank you so much.
You got it.
66 right now at the American Standard Cooling Weather Center. When we come back, we'll switch gears completely. The Super Bowl halftime act has been announced, and the NFL getting rid of something that usually has pretty high ratings. We'll talk about that. We'll touch on the Colts game. It's the Hammer and Nigel Show, 93 WIBC.
Now the Big Ten season begins in earnest. Touchdown! And this is where things really get interesting. So far this season, the Nebraska Cornhuskers have fired their head coach and their defensive coordinator. Who can the Hoosiers get fired next? Sounds like a good time to road trip to Lincoln. Saturday, John Herrick has the pregame at 6:30. Don Fisher with the kickoff at 7:30.
And he knocks it through.
On your home for Hoosiers football.
Touchdown, Indiana!
93 WIBC.
Gotta love betting with FanDuel Sportsbook. You're always finding new players or game props that I like. And what's cool about FanDuel is you can combine those props with other bets from the same game to score an even bigger payout. Perfect for tonight's Monday Night Football game. Any number of combinations you could do. Anytime touchdown score, combine that with the over total points and maybe a quarterback throwing an interception. There's just hundreds of different examples that you could choose from. You know, you build your own or choose from one of the popular same-game parlays that's pre-built for you in FanDuel's top-rated sportsbook app, which I love. It's so easy to use. And if you're new to FanDuel Sportsbook, you can get $150 in free bets, win or lose, with promo code WIBC. That's promo code WIBC. Make every moment more with FanDuel, the official sportsbook partner of the NFL. 21 plus, present in Indiana. First online real money wager only. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued is non-withdrawable free bets that expire 14 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem, call 1-800-9 with it.
Need to beat inflation? Golden Oak Lending is here to help.
Inflation has credit card balances at an all-time high. Why pay up to 25% interest when Golden Oak can pay off that debt at 4.75% fixed?
Our low mortgage rates make you the winner.
Call 317-706-GOLD to lock in your 4.75% rate today.
Golden Oak Lending cured my blues.
NMLS 114937. 4.75% fixed, 5.929% APR. FHA 15-year mortgage with 20% equity and approved credit.
There's a reason Comcast Business powers more businesses than any other provider. Actually, there's a few. Comcast Business offers the fastest, reliable network, the peace of mind that comes with Security Edge, helping to protect all your connected devices, and the most reliable 5G mobile network. Want me to keep going? I can. Whether your small business is starting or growing, you need Comcast Business. Technology solutions that put you ahead and give you serious savings. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Get internet, security, and voice for just $40 per month for 12 months when you add mobile. Plus, get free installation and ask how to get a $500 prepaid card with a qualifying gig bundle. Ends 11/6/2022. Restrictions apply. Requires Eagle Bill and AutoPay. New Comcast Business 250 megabit per second internet. Security Edge and one voice line customers only. 2-year agreement required. Equipment taxes and other fees and subject to change. Must add mobile 90 days from internet install and keep all services for mobile discount. Comcast Business Mobile utilizes the network with the most RootMetrics 5G data reliability wins in 1H 2022. Results may vary. Award is not an endorsement.
Diamonds Direct's unbelievable zero-interest finance offer is coming to a close, but you have until this Sunday to take advantage of 5 years zero-interest financing on any purchase. Now more than ever, it's the smartest way to buy. You can get that engagement ring or fabulous piece of designer jewelry and spread your payments over 5 years without paying a dime in interest. This amazing offer is good through this weekend only. Diamonds Direct, your love, our passion. Get all the details, including special Sunday hours, at diamondsdirect.com on approved credit.
This hour on 93 WIBC, powered by Family Heating and Air Conditioning, your independent American Standard air dealer in Indianapolis.
Please don't stop the music.
You're listening to the Hammer and Nigel Show on 93 WIBC.
I'm Nigel. Hammer's over there. I don't know how much I care about Rihanna playing the Super Bowl halftime show. It was just announced yesterday during the games, NFL games yesterday. I mean, a big name, I think. Rihanna's a pretty well-known name in the music industry, but I mean, I'd be more interested in it if it was, a rock band or Foo Fighters or something like that. We always have these same stupid conversations every year about this time when the Super Bowl act is announced. I guess I'm more curious, Hammer, about maybe some of the special guests that she'll have coming out on stage with her. I guess that kind of piques my interest a tad.
Will you be happy if Rihanna brings out Fog Hat?
Now that is a Super Bowl show I can get behind. Right there, she starts jamming out Slow Ride with the drums and the guitar. Yes, now that is something that would pique my interest for sure.
Yeah, people always will complain about who the halftime act is. It doesn't matter who it is. People will always complain. But at the end of the day, we're watching this thing at home for free, right? We're going to have our beer. We're going to have our food. We're watching it because it's going to be the big talking point of conversation the next day along with the game. So I'm kind of good with this. I don't care about her politics. I know she was offered this gig back in 2019, and she chose to say no because she wanted to show support to Colin Kaepernick, who she felt was being, unfairly kept out of the NFL.
That's over now, I guess. That's out the door.
He's had a couple tryouts, and it turns out he still stinks. So he's not on an NFL roster. So Rihanna was like, screw it, I'm all in. So here's what I'm going to do, Nige. Yes. I'm going to play a little montage of Rihanna songs. Tell me if you have heard these or not.
Do I have to name them?
Just tell me if you've heard it or not.
That was the one that we came in with, was Don't Stop the Music, right?
Correct.
The only other one I know is probably Umbrella. But,
all right, here we go.
Go ahead.
Yeah, there's your one.
I've heard of this one.
These are all Rihanna songs.
Yes, I've heard of it. Couldn't tell you the name of it. Do you know what it is?
We Found Love in a Hopeless Place.
I've heard this one. Is this a different song?
This is S&M by Rihanna.
No, I haven't heard of this one. Yeah.
This was the one that kind of put her on the map. Her first big hit. This is a duet she did with Eminem.
Oh, yeah. I think. Nope.
Disturbia.
Nope. Oh, yeah, I heard that one.
So I think once you actually hear her hit catalog, you're going to be like, oh, I've heard that song before.
Yeah. I mean, I worked at Radio Now when it was on this signal, 93.1. We played the hell out of Rihanna every hour on the hour. And some of those are a little bit past my time, some of those hits. But yeah, that Shut Up and Drive and Umbrella are probably the ones I'm most familiar with.
To this day, one of the biggest regrets in radio I have was not smoking weed with Rihanna.
Where was that at? The Vogue?
It was the Vogue.
She's the one that said, hey, would you like some weed?
She was on the bus. I was doing promotions for WZPL at the time, and she had just come out. Like that Mr. DJ song had just come out. So she's doing a show at the Vogue. And we had contest winners that got to meet Rihanna on her bus, right? So we go on the bus, and it's like remember when Fast Times at Ridgemont High, when Spicoli and his buddies fell out of the van and all the smoke comes out? That was her bus, and all of her crew are inside, and they're all just smoking up. So I'm bringing these contest winners inside of the bus, and Rihanna and her crew are offering our contest winners weed.
And what did she say to you specifically? You want in on this?
You want to hit this?
You should have said yes, and I'll take a puff of weed as well.
I regret both decisions, to be honest with you. But yeah, that's one of the biggest regrets is, I could have the story today of hanging out, smoking a fatty with the halftime performing Rihanna, but I chose to be responsible at the time.
We all have our regrets.
Where was your emotional roller coaster at for that Colts game yesterday, Nigel?
All over the place. You know it firsthand. I was at one point wishing they were going to lose even when they got that penalty when the Chiefs got the penalty at the end of the game to keep the Colts on the field. I was like, screw them, I still hope they lose.
The final drive, going for the win, Nigel texts me, I hope they still lose.
It was just the defense was great, and I was still bitter from that opening drive when the Colts got the ball. It just the 3-and-out was one of the worst series I've ever seen the Colts play. I was still bitter from that first opening drive, and they got lucky, man. They didn't win that game so much as Kansas City lost it. And if that guy was trash talking or abusive language or whatever the ref called at the end, if it wasn't for that, they would have nothing in the win column.
Boy, that offensive line of the Colts looks bad. I know we should be happy today because they beat a good team.
I know.
They beat Patrick Mahomes at home, but anybody that's a Colts fan that watches that, you still got concerns.
Especially if you're an irrational, passionate, dummy Colts fan like I am.
The flip the table over kind of fan.
Yeah, like the coach of the Bills. That footage was hilarious after the end of that game against the Dolphins.
That's Nigel in the first quarter texting all of us.
Yeah.
Speaking of the NFL, the Pro Bowl is gone. They're getting rid of the Pro Bowl. And now they're going to do the Pro Bowl games. It's taking place during Super Bowl weekend, that bye week in Las Vegas. So they're doing a flag football game and skills competitions instead.
Okay, I mean, can you bet on it? I always like betting on the Pro Bowl. You always it was easy money.
It was a guaranteed over.
Yeah, you laid a bunch of money on the over every time. I'm not going to watch the skills. Does that involve NFL players throwing footballs into trash cans 100 yards away and crap like that?
Similar, yeah.
I mean, I hate to sound cynical, but
I mean, sometimes though that kind of stuff is better than the actual game.
Well,
I would argue the home run derby and the three-point dunk contest is better than the actual game.
I was thinking about the NBA 3-point contest and the dunk contest. I mean, the dunk contest has gotten a little stale, but I know what you mean. All right, we'll see.
But it sounds like Peyton Manning is going to be involved in this somehow. His Omaha Productions company, they're producing, I think, the flag football game. So I think he's going to be a coach on one side. I would imagine Eli will probably be a coach on the other side.
It's going to be even worse. So is it going to be current NFL players playing flag football? I mean, could you
don't know anything yet, but I would imagine so.
Okay.
If you get picked to be like an all-pro or whatever, they'll probably fly you out to Vegas and do the whole thing. Yes.
Okay.
Super Bowl's in Arizona, but this whole deal is going to be out in Vegas. All right. Coming up here in just a moment, Monday Gun Day with Guy Relford. That is coming up next. This is the Hammer and Nigel Show.
There's a reason Comcast Business powers more businesses than any other provider. Actually, there's a few. Comcast Business offers the fastest, reliable network, the peace of mind that comes with Security Edge, helping to protect all your connected devices, and the most reliable 5G mobile network. Want me to keep going? I can. Whether your small business is starting or growing, you need Comcast Business. Technology solutions that put you ahead and give you serious savings. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Get internet, security, and voice for just $40 per month for 12 months when you add mobile. Plus, get free installation and ask how to get a $500 prepaid card with a qualifying gig bundle. Ends 11/6/2022. Restrictions apply. Requires Eagle Bill and AutoPay. New Comcast Business 250 megabit per second internet. Security Edge and one voice line customers only. 2-year agreement required. Equipment taxes and other fees and subject to change. Must add mobile 90 days from internet install and keep all services for mobile discount. Comcast Business Mobile utilizes the network with the most RootMetrics 5G data reliability wins in 1H 2022. Results may vary. Award is not an endorsement.
Hammer here for Indy's hometown sportsbook, Bet Rivers. Bet Rivers, Indiana. The line is out. Big game coming up on Sunday. The Titans at the Colts. The line is out. The Colts are a 3-point home favorite against the Titans. Over under set at 42.5. I'm telling you, early bird always gets the worm. If you like those numbers, jump on it right now at Bet Rivers, Indiana. If you don't have the app, download it immediately. iPhone or Android, Bet Rivers, Indiana. The best numbers you will see all week are usually early on. Now, if you want to wait until the weekend and check out the promotions, well, you can do that too. Because every Saturday and Sunday during football season, college football and the NFL, Bet Rivers gives you, the player, the opportunity for profit boosts, for parlay fun, for free bets. I'm telling you, a lot of these places, they only cater to the new users. Bet Rivers hooks up those that come back and play all the time. And that's why I keep going back to Bet Rivers, Indiana. Make sure you get those bets in. Win the most money with Bet Rivers. Must be a resident of Indiana, 21 and over. And if you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-9-WITH-IT.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
She gave her life while on the job. Partly cloudy and 65 in the circle with no rain on the radar. I'm Harrison Silcox. Here's what's trending at 3:31. The service for Richmond police officer Sierra Burton was about her sacrifice.
Sierra will miss those phone calls during her shift asking me for advice on reports and calls. I will miss our talks in the PD parking lot at the end of my shift and the beginning of hers.
Amy Miller, her fellow officer and stepmother. Her supervisor, Lieutenant Donnie Benedict, also acknowledged the sacrifice of Elwood officer Noah Shanovez.
Sierra swore to that oath, and today she has paid an ultimate sacrifice to keep her word.
But he says they've never stood taller or stronger. The procession just got to Henry County. Matt Baer will have more from the WIBC Traffic Center in a few minutes. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis is telling Florida residents to be prepared for Hurricane Ian.
Make sure that you have your plan in place. Finish whatever preparations you have. I mean, this thing is coming this week.
It's currently a Category 1 storm. It could reach Cuba tonight and reach Florida's western coast by Wednesday. Planning a trip to Canada just got easier.
Starting October 1 in Canada, COVID vax passes are gone, as well as quarantine, isolation requirements, and all pre- or on-arrival COVID testing for people entering the country. Health officials in Canada also say that forced masking will no longer be required on planes or trains, as Canada soon declares an end to pandemic restrictions that in part crippled economies. Canadian officials say foreign nationals will still be required to meet entry requirements under the Immigration and Refugee Protection Act.
Fox's Jeff Manasso. At the White House today are the Atlanta Braves, being honored for winning the World Series last year.
You made the playoffs and beat the Brewers and the Dodgers, and then you beat the Astros to win it all. Forever known as the upset kings of October.
President Joe Biden also said the franchise has a rich history in Major League Baseball. With traffic at 3:33, here's Matt Baer.
All right, Harrison, looking at the south side, eastbound 465 crash after the White River. That is the left lane that's blocked with traffic. Stop and go back to Man Road. And then on the west side, southbound 465 to Rockville Road, a semi is tapped out at the bottom of the ramp with the hood up. And you can make your exit. It is just partially blocked here at the moment. Traffic sponsored by Drexel Interiors. Go where the pros go. Drexel Interiors for Timberlake Kitchen and Bath Cabinets. Visit Drexel's Design Centers at 146th Street and River Road or on North Shadeland, DrexelIN.com. I'm Matt Baer. Follow us on Twitter for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
And the forecast from the American Standard Cooling Weather Center.
Should see a comfortable but cool day today. Highs in the upper 60s, lots of sunshine. Lows tonight, mid-40s with a clear sky. During the day on Tuesday, cooler with highs in the low 60s with a mix of sun and clouds. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8's Stephanie Mead for 93 WIBC.
And I'm Harrison Silcox. On the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
The only way to bag a classy lady is to give her 2 tickets to the gun show.
Monday Gun Day with the gun guy.
Just watch out for the guns. They'll get you.
Guy Relford.
Stop calling your arms guns.
Hammer and Nigel Show, 93 WIBC.
My name is Nigel. Jason Hammer is here, also joining us live in studio. The gun guy, Guy Relford, licensed firearms instructor, 2A attorney, host of the, did I already say host of the Gun Guy Show?
Yeah,
I don't know, you're a
absolutely.
damn fire American, man. How are you?
I'm great. And thanks as always to our sponsor, Fort Liberty Firearms in Avon. Great place to buy firearms, ammunition, or accessories. And check out their new safe room where they're selling quality American-made safes. Check out my buddies at FortLibertyFirearms.com.
Big Nige, the Colts won. Go ahead and crack open that beverage you got there.
All right, fine. I'll embrace it. Even though I don't feel good about the win, I'll take it, okay? So are we tied for first in the AFC?
No, you're still behind the Jags.
Okay, the Jags, that's right.
Yeah,
Okay,
Jags are rolling. They're 2-1.
And who would have picked the Jags? Well, knowing you, Jason, you probably did because you got this down. But who would have picked the Jags in San Diego? Chargers are good.
They are.
LA.
Their quarterback's banged up.
Yeah,
Herbert played with
He's
those
got a
ribs,
rib
man.
issue, yeah.
We'll get to some important stuff here in just a moment. We were having a great conversation off the air, though.
Right.
You went to the game
I
yesterday, and you have been going to Colts games since this team arrived in 84.
I have.
You know, we've told the story a million times. You were kind of a part of that process.
Yeah.
Was this the most visiting fans you have seen in the Colts stadium, whether it's the old dome or Lucas Oil? Because it looked like a Chiefs invasion downtown.
Yeah, by a lot. And look, a lot of teams, and I give them great credit for this because I like to travel to see the Colts play in other stadiums around the country as well. So I love that these guys do this, but it's disheartening as a home fan. A lot of teams travel well. Green Bay fans travel well.
Yeah,
Pittsburgh.
in 2020 when I went, I took my son. It was limited capacity, it was like 7,500, maybe 10,000. They were all Green Bay fans.
Oh
there.
man, Pittsburgh fans travel incredibly well. I mean, several groups and Kansas City fans clearly do. But I got to tell you,
down in Miami
yeah,
this
that
weekend.
was nuts. You just showed me that video. But I got to tell you, as far as being at a Colts game, and you're right, I've been going since 1984. I had club seat tickets for almost 35 years, and that was the biggest population of visiting fans I've ever seen. And when you go to Kansas City, and I've been there half a dozen times, it's a sea of red. Everybody wears a red jersey. There's no white, there's no yellow. Everybody wears a red jersey, and there were an incredible, I would say easily 25% of that entire stadium were Chiefs fans. And if somebody told me it was a third, I wouldn't argue with them.
They sounded loud on TV.
It did, yeah.
It sounded like, when it was a third down and the Colts are on the field, it sounded like a road game almost.
Yeah, that's disheartening. I got to tell you, there were areas up in the upper levels where whole sections looked to be 70, 80%. I mean, it was just a pocket of red. I mean, a big pocket of red.
So is this the Chiefs fans just early bird getting the worm and they're buying tickets the minute they go on sale? Or is this Colts fans buying tickets and then selling them on the secondary market, the Chiefs fans?
It's both.
I think it's both.
Yeah.
I think, Nigel, you're exactly right. But also, Indy has an issue. And look, I'm all for free market and small businesses, but Indy has an issue where an awful lot of tickets, season tickets, are held by institutional ticket buyers and sellers. In other words, these ticket brokers. And hey, I love them. I go to them when I want tickets.
Sure.
I'm going to Denver. I'm going to the Thursday night game in Denver because I have a son who lives in Denver.
Oh, nice.
And my daughter from Jacksonville is going with my son-in-law, and I'm going to meet my son and my daughter-in-law, and we're as a big group. And I'm using a ticket broker. So I'm not complaining about this, except an awful lot of tickets in Indy are owned by ticket brokers. And if Colts fans go and buy them, that's one thing. But if the fans from Kansas City or Green Bay or wherever want to go buy them too, it's a free market. And I think that's one of the reasons why teams who travel really well in terms of their fans willing to show up in other stadiums like Kansas City, that's why you saw such an incredible number of Kansas City fans in the stadium yesterday.
Have you been to Arrowhead? Have you been
Oh,
to the
yeah.
Chiefs?
Oh, God, yes. I've been to Arrowhead half a dozen times.
My next door neighbor, Scott, just got back from there because he has some buddies that live out there. He said, it's night and day in terms of the difference between Lucas Oil Stadium and Arrowhead, because Lucas Oil, it's like a shopping mall almost, right?
Well,
There's tons of stuff to do. There's different things. If you're not concentrating on the game, you can go walk around. At Arrowhead, there's two things to do: watch football and drink beer, and that's it. And he said it was the loudest atmosphere he's ever been in his life.
Well, I'll tell you the really awesome things.
80,000 strong.
Oh, no, I agree with all that. The really awesome things about Arrowhead is, first of all, it's got nothing but like open real estate, 360 degrees all the way around the outside of the stadium. So it's incredible to tailgate. And I am a professional tailgater. We can do a whole show on the Guy Relford tailgate.
The next night with WIBC, I want to have Guy Relford with a tent outside.
I'm telling you.
And a grill and a keg.
I'm talking portable satellite dish. I'm talking big screen, flat screen.
Nice.
I'm talking generator, full-size gas grill that fits in your trailer hitch. I'm talking fillets and garlic mashed potatoes, man. I'm a professional tailgater.
I totally want a tailgate for the next night with WIBC. This has to happen.
I'm telling you. But in Kansas City, it's so cool because there's this huge amount of real estate right around the stadium.
Right,
In Indy, you kind of got to. There's this parking lot you can tailgate in. There's that parking lot there. It's all one.
It's all open,
and it's so much fun. And the fans are so passionate. And it's Kansas City, so you got ribs and steaks and all this great food cooking everywhere, and it's fabulous. I love that stadium. It's a great place to go.
All right, so we got Guy Relford here, the gun guy here on the Hammer and Nigel show. Let's get into some serious issues. There was a school shooting in Russia earlier. 13 dead the last time that I heard, many more injured. Of course, everybody always says that these types of things only happen in the United States. We've heard this time and time again from usually the left-leaning politicians in this country, but this goes to show that these types of things happen all over the world. What are your thoughts on this? Because we always come to you whenever there's a gun-related issue, because I think your opinion is just so interesting compared to folks who don't do this kind of thing for a living.
Do you know what the gun laws are in Russia?
God, it's incredibly restrictive. I mean, to have a gun as a private citizen,
really,
it's very, very, very hard. And so, look, nobody wants to celebrate the loss of life like we saw. And this was a school shooting, and they've upgraded those numbers. I was doing Tony Katz's show earlier, and just right before I got off the air, they upgraded the numbers, and it's now 15 that have been killed, with 24 injured. And so it's horrible, but it brings to mind, to me, the fact that every time a mass shooting happens in the United States, we have anti-gun politicians coming out and saying, this only happens in America. This never happens in any other country. It's only because of our lax gun laws. And listen, for instance, we've had mass shootings be used as a predicate or a reason to ban whole categories of firearms. You know what the guy in Russia did who killed 15 people, wounded 24? He took 2 inoperable firearms. Apparently they were replicas or maybe starting pistols. I don't know. But the news coverage from Associated Press said he took 2 inoperable pistols and converted them so as to fire real bullets. And he still killed 15 people and wounded 24 in a school. So if you think for a moment that the way to stop school shootings or mass shootings generally is to take a particular class of firearms away from people, like in the United States, we always want to talk about so-called assault weapons, right? I'm doing air quotes.
Assault weapons and bump stocks.
Yeah, right. But they'll say if we can stop school shootings if we just take these assault weapons away from people. That is put to the lie. That fraud is exposed by the fact that a person who wants to do evil will find a way to do evil, including a guy in Russia who took 2 inoperable firearms and handguns and was able to convert those to go in and hurt and kill that many people.
And I think it illustrates the importance of having teachers, whether it's in Russia or the United States or anywhere, having armed teachers that volunteer. I just saw the story about Shelby Eastern School District a couple days ago on our news gathering partners Wish TV about how they're arming their teachers in that county. And it's actually more common than I think we know in this state, isn't it, Guy?
Yes. Well, and I know that because I've worked with various school districts around the country, around the state, I should say, mainly in rural areas who have made the decision to arm their teachers. And I've helped them put their training programs together and implement this. And they don't want it known. They want it to be under the radar for obvious security reasons. But there are several school districts around Indiana that have armed their teachers. But listen, I oppose gun control as a response to mass shootings. So people immediately come and attack me and say, well, that means you have no solutions. You just want to say no to gun control, but you have no solutions. I beg to differ. There are 4 steps to preventing a school shooting. Okay. Number 1 is risk identification. Have a culture where people see kids who are at risk or whoever it might be, and they invariably post stuff on social media. They do, like the kid in Michigan had these violent drawings that were found.
They'll see something, say something.
See something, say something. And we're running a PSA on WIBC right now. It's beautiful. It's say. I see say because. That's what we're talking about. Risk identification.
And don't be afraid to judge people, because that's the thing that I hate the most. Well, you shouldn't judge that person. No, if there's a lunatic drawing pictures about wanting to shoot and kill people, I'm going to judge him, and that's okay.
And that's okay. And that's the culture shift we need. That's a great point. Then it's risk interdiction, which is we identify a risk. What do? There are mental health services available. There's the ability to hold someone for observation to see whether they're a risk to themselves or others. If they're a risk, we can commit them and hold them for treatment. And this is not just to lock somebody up; it's to get them the help that they need. Right? There we have red flag laws, and we can argue all we want about due process and what, but they currently are on the books. We see someone like the FedEx shooter, who's clearly a risk. Right? His mom walked to an IMPD station to say this kid is a risk, to red flag her own kid.
She begged him to take away.
And they did. They took a shotgun away, but they never filed red flag proceedings. So there's a way to intercept those risks right before they unfold. Now let's say we failed at number 1 and number 2. We haven't identified that risk. We haven't interdicted. We haven't interfered. Now they're on their way to the school. A third one is risk exclusion, meaning keep them out of the damn school, right? Harden the schools, make it tough to get in schools. In Uvalde, we had an unlocked back door. Apparently, the teachers were using to go out and smoke, right? In different school shootings, we have different ways they've entered the buildings. We need to look at those and say, no, we're not going to allow bad guys in our schools anymore. And then we have these people come out and attack us and go, oh, well, I don't want my kid going to school in a prison. Look, I don't want my kid going to, or my grandkid to go to school in a prison, but I want my kids to be protected as much as we protect our politicians. I want our kids to be protected as much as we protect money in a bank or jewels in a jewelry store. Why don't we want to make it as hard to kill our kids as we do to steal our money out of a bank?
I mean, I got a full body cavity search the last time I was at Indianapolis International Airport. It's like a prison there almost, and I'm happy to comply. And you know what I mean? Like,
and nobody complains about that.
Yeah, we're arming our banks, we're arming our prisons, we're arming our, people, TSA.
And it's not like we're putting chains on the doors like Crazy Joe Clark and Lean on Me here.
Right. Yeah. No, but I mean, it's make it hard for bad guys to get in our schools and kill our kids. Why should that be controversial? People don't like it. Liberals argue against it because they say, oh, well, you're just arguing against gun control. You don't want an assault weapon ban, so you want to turn our schools into prisons. Look, an assault weapon ban isn't going to stop school shootings. The worst school shooting in history was Virginia Tech, and was committed by 2 handguns.
Yeah.
You can ban assault weapons tomorrow. It's not going to stop school shootings.
You can't stop a crazy, motivated lunatic.
The guy in Russia just took 2 inoperable handguns and killed 15 people and wounded 24. But the fourth step is, after risk exclusion, meaning keep bad guys out of our schools, the last one is risk response. Now, they're in the school. And this goes back to Nigel's point, right? Nigel says, why don't we have more armed teachers? Why don't we have more security guards? Okay, we failed to identify the risk. We didn't interdict. We didn't stop them. We didn't get them help. They got in the damn school. Now what's your response? Kill the dude.
Yeah.
The response is shoot him, and shoot him before he hurts our kids. How do you do that? With school resource officers. If you want to arm teachers, look, Indiana law allows you to do that. You can put whatever training program you want. I worked with one school district that actually required their teachers who wanted to be armed in school to become reserve police officers and go through the same training that the police officers did, which, by the way, the reserve officers got the same training the full-time sworn officers did as far as firearms. Then they gave them additional mass shooter training, right? Active shooter response. They gave them all that training, and then they allowed them to carry guns in schools. So look, those are the 4 steps, including if he gets in our school, kill him before he kills our kids.
Yeah.
And if you're resistant to that, then you have a political agenda above actually keeping kids safe.
Got about a minute left here. Just being devil's advocate, what's your response when someone says, well, we had this kind of stuff down in Uvalde. We had a resource officer there, and he didn't do anything. He wouldn't hid somewhere, and then the authorities arrived, and they sat around and played grab ass for about 35, 40 minutes.
Oh, yeah. Well, the response is, having each of these things in place is no guarantee that people are going to do their jobs. We had a guy in Parkland, Florida, or an armed school resource officer who hid behind a vehicle outside as all those kids were being murdered. So none of these systems are foolproof. Nobody says it's a guarantee.
Right.
But what it does provide is if you have qualified and willing people who, by the way, the protocol since Columbine, going all the way back to Columbine, the protocol is you have an active shooter in a school. You have an active shooter anywhere. You're the first on scene. You find the shooter and kill the shooter. And people say, well, I'm just by myself and he has a gun. And, and the response is you get paid to go in. You don't get paid to come back out. The protocol is go protect the kids, go protect the innocent, find the shooter, end the threat. And if that means it doesn't work out for you and the next guy gets the job done, guess what? That's the job profile. That's the job description. You don't want that job? Don't take a job as a school resource officer. Don't be a first responder to a mass shooting. That's the way it works. It's not a guarantee, but it's the way the system's designed, and it's the way to actually protect kids.
If anybody wants to continue this conversation, what's the best way to get a hold of you?
Relford Law is the best way, relfordlaw.com.
Guy, thank you so much.
Love you guys, man. Thanks.
It's the Hammer and Nigel Show.
Don't you love fall in Indy, but you hate the paint? Well, do what your neighbor Mark did. He called Rhino Shield.
It's a two-story home built in 1992. Around 2001, looking at needing to paint, I heard a radio ad, with a Rhino Shield, you won't have to paint again for another 25 years.
That's because Rhino Shield's not paint. It's better.
They're very professional. We had everything done. Everything that would typically be painted on a house was done, and it was very fast.
All right, Indy, get the 25-year guaranteed protection of Rhino Shield right now for 15% off the regular price.
It was done in 2001 and still going strong. From what I've seen on our home, they can easily offer a 25-year guarantee and not worry about it.
Here's owner Shane Smith.
This offer is limited, so call me at 888-RHINO-41. That's 888-RHINO-41.
Don't paint.
Don't vinyl.
Go Rhino.
Don't paint. Don't vinyl. Go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Inflating prices aren't stopping anytime soon, and that kitchen or bath remodel you've been thinking about, if you wait any longer, it's just going to get more and more expensive. You need to be planning right now. Tony Katz for Boer Remodeling. Get in touch with Boer now to get on the schedule for 2023 and avoid some of those price increases. Boer Remodeling aims to be the finest remodeler in Central Indiana with the best materials and most skilled craftsmen. They'll guide you through the entire process to make your vision come to life. Boer Remodeling, BOOHER. Talk to BoerRemodeling.com to set up your free consultation.
Family Dollar has the spookiest deals to help you do more for your family this Halloween. Stop by and start booing things up with our huge variety of outdoor and indoor Halloween decorations. Discover a great selection of costume accessories to complete the perfect look. And of course, find all your favorite treats. For a limited time, select bags of Halloween candy, including Snickers, M&Ms, and Reese's, are buy two, get one free. Family Dollar, helping you do more.
This is Ryan again, owner of Plumbing Heating Paramedics, your trained comfort specialist. Buying a new air conditioner or furnace is a big decision and can be pricey. That's why we recommend getting 3 quotes. Just make sure we are one of them. Why? Because the PHP guarantee says, if I can't beat a competitor's price by 10%, then I will give you $100. Dad always said, do quality work and serve every customer better than your competition. So let our family serve you. Visit saving10%.com and remember, it's hard to stop a train.
There's nothing more important than time. Time for you and time for family. If issues like high blood pressure or high cholesterol run in your family, make time for highly skilled heart care too. At Indiana University Health, you can book a same-day appointment with the state's most preferred provider of cardiovascular care. See a top cardiologist today, then get back to what's most important without skipping a beat. Visit iuhealth.org/heart to book your appointment today.
Trust our family to take care of your family. Call us today for our family maintenance plan at 317-577-8077.
Family Heating and Air is your trusted local independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
All right, Matt Baer, what's going on?
Southside eastbound 465 crash before Harding Street, blocking the left lane. Traffic backed up to Sam Jones Expressway. At southbound 465, but at the bottom of the ramp to Rockville Road, that is a stalled semi, partially blocking the ramp. Traffic sponsored by Drexel Interiors. Go where the pros go. Drexel Interiors. For Timberlake Kitchen and Bath Cabinets, visit Drexel's Design Centers at 146th Street and River Road or on North Shadeland, DrexelIN.com. I'm Matt Baer. Follow us on Twitter for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
And we are also keeping our eye on that funeral procession for the fallen Richmond PD K-9 officer, Ciara Burton. According to Matt, it's going to be on Interstate 40, Highway 40, making its way from Richmond to Crown Hill Cemetery. So we will keep an eye on that for you. Right now, it's 66 at the American Standard Cooling Weather Center at 93 WIBC.
And we're back. The Hammer and Nigel Show, 93 WIBC.
My name is Nigel. Jason Hammer is here. Are we doing NASA first? Before we get to that?
I hear the Armageddon theme music. We got to do the story about the asteroid.
So NASA, today is the day you get to watch NASA land a spacecraft. I guess I shouldn't say land. They're slamming a spacecraft into an asteroid, a la Armageddon. Bruce Willis and Ben Affleck. I mean, this is like really science fiction entering the real world when they call it DART. DART launches into Dimorphos, the moonlet of a near-Earth asteroid. So they're trying to alter this asteroid's path, so to speak, by slamming this thing. I don't think they're using nukes or anything like that.
Harry Stamper's not there with the remote somewhere.
They're not sending a giant-ass drill in there to drill anything, but they're trying to set this thing off trajectory, and you'll be able to, I think you could just type in NASA, follow the action live when it happens later. And NASA, they're pumped about this stuff, man. In fact, check out their hype commercial.
Monday. That's right. Get ready for high-power NASA thrusting, dart-crashing, asteroid-smashing action. It's the double asteroid redirect mission, better known as DART. Spacecraft versus Dimorphos. Watch all the action on the camera live stream. Draco. Don't miss the slamming, the trajectory changing, the total spacecraft destruction. $325 million gone with one big hit. Monday. That's today. Live, 6 p.m. Eastern. Be there.
My only problem is, I don't think this asteroid's on a dead set collision course with Earth anyway. I think they're just testing it out. But what if they do slam into it and it does put it more towards Earth? Right. It does the complete opposite thing. It was going 5 million miles past Earth. It's just an experiment. Now it's headed straight for Monument Circle.
I would hope that the same group that can land one of their rockets on boats in the middle of the ocean, like NASA and even SpaceX do, I think they would know which side to hit the asteroid on. Yeah. I have pretty good faith in the folks at NASA to do that. And I'm hoping that after this, they sell merch in their gift shop that says Kick Asteroid. NASA, kick asteroids. We were talking earlier about Rihanna doing halftime of the Super Bowl. Taylor Swift. A lot of people thought Taylor was going to be the halftime act. That's not the case. She's got a new album coming out, Nige, and the big hype about this, she swears for the first time.
Oh, boy.
I will now be leading up to Faith and announcing the next track. Track 8, Vigilante.
Vigilante crap.
Okay.
How creative, how edgy.
Until she's willing to work with that screaming goat, I don't want to hear anymore. It's the Hammer and Nigel Show.
Your home is your sanctuary. Get the peace of mind you deserve with a free estimate on a Generac automatic standby generator for your home from Generator Supercenter, the nation's #1 Generac generator dealer. With expert installation and 24-hour monitoring, Generator Supercenter won't leave you in the dark. Financing is available. Take control of your power today with Generator Supercenter. Call 317-827-0808. Generator Supercenter of Indianapolis, 317-827-0808.
Do you need to beat inflation? Golden Oak Lending is here to help. While others are talking about rising interest rates, we are lowering ours.
Inflation has credit card balances at an all-time high. Why pay up to 25% interest when Golden Oak can pay off that debt at 4.75% fixed?
Don't get stuck paying the minimum payments on credit cards. The average homeowner has over $60,000 in equity. You deserve to put that cash to work for you.
Our average cash-out customer saves $904 a month. Call 317-706-GOLD for your free mortgage checkup.
Inflation shouldn't win. Our low mortgage rates and your equity make you the winner. And remember, if we can't close your loan, the appraisal is no charge.
Call 317-706-GOLD. Lock in your 4.75% rate today.
Golden Oak Lending cured my blues.
NMLS 114937. 4.75% fixed, 5.929% APR. FHA 15-year mortgage with 20% equity and approved credit.
Coming up in 2 minutes. The funeral for Richmond police officer Sierra Burton was earlier today. The procession is in Hancock County now. A company that operates several Dairy Queens in Indiana has violated child labor laws, and Noblesville mayor says he plans to run for a second term. All that and more after Fox News Radio from the Shepherd Community Center studios. You're listening to 93 WIBC, WIBC HD1 Indianapolis. It's 4 o'clock.
A state of emergency in Florida. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. As Hurricane Ian gathers strength on a possible track to hit Florida's Gulf Coast, maybe the Tampa Bay area, which hasn't had a major storm in more than a century.
We will see on the Gulf Coast of Florida heavy rain, strong winds, flash flooding, storm surge, and perhaps isolated tornado activity. And that is true regardless of the precise track that this takes.
Governor Ron DeSantis emphasizing the potential for significant flooding away from the eye of the storm, which is about 500 miles wide. For now, forecasters say Cuba is expecting extreme hurricane force winds and a life-threatening storm surge from Ian, which is expected to approach Florida Wednesday into Thursday. The president's focus is on the people, not himself. Reaction from spokeswoman Karine Jean-Pierre to concern about the economy in a new poll.
Our U.S. strategy, economic strategy, is focused on the long-term growth and investment. Increased manufacturing and fiscal discipline has positioned our country to navigate challenging global times from the strongest position possible.
This as the inflation fight continues to rattle the markets.
The White House says it does not view what happens on Wall Street as the main indicator about how the U.S. economy is faring overall. But there's some new polling which suggests Americans are worried about their 401ks, their investments, and their savings. ABC Washington Post finding that 74% of registered voters believe the state of the economy is not so good or poor. That's up sharply from about 5 months ago. The president's own job approval number is not looking much better, with only 39% of voters approving of his performance.
Fox's Mark Meredith at the White House. The same poll finds the economy is the top concern. The Dow down 325 points at the closing bell, extending last week's plunge. America is listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Remembering the life of a fallen officer. Partly sunny and 67 downtown. Clear skies tonight and a low of 45. I'm Harrison Silcox. Here's what's trending at 4:02. The weight of the badge was what one colleague of Richmond police officer Sierra Burton mentioned Monday at her funeral. Chris Davis reports on what that means in Indiana.
Some call this the weight of the badge.
Lieutenant Donnie Benedict.
I can tell you that this badge has never weighed heavier than it does today.
That's because Indiana just buried another officer, Elwood's Noah Shanovitz. Burton's stepmother and fellow Richmond officer, Amy Miller.
When she was first hired, we had many talks about the job.
and what she was about to face and go through.
Talks that included the risks, the daily risks. Burton was shot in August and died September 18th and remembered for service and sacrifice. Chris Davis, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
The procession is now in Hancock County and will make its way through parts of downtown this afternoon. Matt Bear will let you know about any delays from the WIBC Traffic Center. The operator of 11 Dairy Queens in Indiana and Michigan has been fined over $42,000 for violating child labor provisions, says the U.S. Department of Labor. H&H Coldwater LLC is based out of Fort Wayne and had over 100 minors ages 14 and 15 working in violation of child labor regulations at several of their DQ locations. The company will have to pay the fine by mid-November for the violations. A drunk driver arrested Saturday night in Zionsville. John Herrick reports.
Police say a man named Timothy Kennedy was driving a truck and it went off a county road and it rolled 3 times. When officers got there, they say they saw Kennedy trying to run away, but they caught and arrested him. The 2 passengers that were in his truck survived, but they had to be taken to a hospital with injuries. John Herrick, Network Indiana.
Noblesville's mayor says he plans to seek re-election for a second term. Republican Chris Jensen was elected in 2019, started his term 2 years ago in 2020, and will be a candidate in the 2023 Republican primary for Noblesville mayor. Jensen says he's running for mayor because there's more work to be done. The primary is scheduled for May 2nd. You're 30 seconds away from traffic and weather. It's 4:04.
When it's hot, the last thing you want is your home's AC to quit on you. At 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning, our team of comfort specialists take the frustration out of the equation. From simple repairs to more complex fixes, we'll get you cool and comfortable quickly. Call 855-1HOUR for $50 off your repair or visit onehourair.com and keep your cool. We're
Always on time or you don't pay a dime.
Terms and conditions may apply. Independently owned and operated, licensed in their respective state or county.
With traffic on the 5s at 4:05. What's going on, Matt Bear?
Harrison, looking at a crash coming into the north split. It is westbound 72, northbound 65. Crash on the exit ramp, left lane block, stopping us back to Rural Street, Keystone Avenue. Then on the south side, eastbound 465 before Harding Street, crash blocking the left lane. Stop and go traffic past I-70. On the west side, southbound 465 at the bottom of the ramp to Rockville Road. We have a disabled semi. That ramp is open. It is partially blocked. Traffic sponsored by Dell Technologies. Dell Technologies provides growing businesses with tools to do incredible things. For advice on smart PCs powered by Intel vPro that's built for business, call a Dell Technologies advisor at 877-ASK-DELL. I'm Matt Bear. Follow us on Twitter for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
And the forecast from the American Standard Cooling Weather Center.
We're in for a chilly night tonight with winds calming down a bit, lows falling into the mid-40s, and Tuesday another marvelous fall-like afternoon with a few passing clouds and breezy winds, highs in the low to mid-60s. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Stephen Deanna for 93 WIBC.
And I'm Harrison Silcox, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Hammer and Nigel.
Can you believe these characters are weirdos?
On 93 WIBC.
So let's rock it!
My name is Nigel. Jason Hammer is here. Mega Mondo is our producer. Can we get right into it, Mondo? Let's not waste any time. Let's get into some vaccine stuff.
Pharmacies. Woo! Antibodies.
Yeah.
Side effects. Vaccine stuff.
So this is from the CDC.
I don't believe it.
I believe this, actually. This makes total sense to me. Basically, the CDC says that less than 2% of people that are eligible, adults, have gotten the updated COVID booster shots.
Oh, I believe that, yeah.
Less than 2% of people, adults here in the United States, have not gotten those updated booster shots. And the number is the same for young kids. In terms of being fully vaccinated, 2% of children of a certain age group are fully vaccinated. Only 2%. What do those numbers really say, Hammer? To me, it's a rhetorical question. It says people know that the vaccines basically have failed and they're no good and kids don't need them at all in any way, shape, or form whatsoever. And adults are also rejecting the boosters
right.
as well.
And they can keep telling us that same tired company line all the time. After you've had 5 or 6 boosters, after you've got a syringe hanging out of your anus, well, I still got COVID, but it would have been way worse if I didn't have these 15 shots previously.
And by the way, there's a giant British study out now that talks about how vaccines didn't work that well against in terms of treating severe COVID. And nobody's talking about this study out of the UK. So I think people just kind of understand. They know that this is endemic. It's going to be treated like a cold for the most part if you don't have severe comorbidities. I will say, like, my doctor recommended I get the vaccine, like, when it first came out because I got the high blood pressure thing going on. It's a little bit of high cholesterol. I take medications for each.
How you don't have cirrhosis yet, I have no idea.
I don't have cirrhosis of the liver.
Yet.
Not yet, but I did know people that were unvaccinated in the very beginning that, like my age, that developed pneumonia out of their COVID infection. Several. I knew like 4 or 5 wound up in the hospital. They're fine. They ended up being
Listen,
okay.
Delta was a mother. Delta was.
Of course. And that first one, whatever the first variant was, or not the variant, but the original COVID was, my wife, when she got it, November 2020, it punched her in the face. It was all out flu-like symptoms. And then by the end of the week, she was, moving around and she was okay. But now that, this Omicron variant, the BA5 or whatever is dominant, so like 80% of the people have gotten it. Or that's the 80% of people that test positive for COVID now. It's the BA5 variant. It's just, it's not very deadly. And I saw the CDC director Walensky has like gotten her 4th or 5th shot altogether. And like, hey, listen, even if you got a booster a couple of months ago, you need to get the updated booster. We have these new updated, like, who's going to get shots every 2 months?
Right. Especially when you can still get and spread this thing.
And then in terms of lasting efficacy of these things, who knows how long they work well, or if they don't really work well at all, in my opinion, in the studies that I'm looking at right now.
Dude, if I were 80 years old or I had some sort of underlying health condition, fine, I understand that. You do you. But if you're somebody that's in decent shape, not even good, in decent shape, and especially if you're younger, it's a hard sell now. Because I'm reading here, the Dr. Scott Roberts, a Yale medicine infectious disease specialist, he told the CDC that it was demoralizing how few people have gotten this booster that's now out there. Well, I'll tell you what, doctor, what's demoralizing was we were told by Joe Biden, by doctors, by a lot of people, if you get these shots, you will not get COVID. You can go back to work. You can do this and that. Well, guess what? People got the shots. They still got sick.
And they still spread it.
You still spread it. People lost their jobs because they did not want to get this thing.
That's demoralizing.
That's demoralizing.
Right. And then I'm seeing commercials on Twitter and on TV about kids and myocarditis now. They don't mention COVID specifically in those spots, but when's the last time you've seen a commercial about treating myocarditis in kids? How about never?
Right.
And now they're pretty prevalent.
And I want to see more studies on organ donors, organ transplants, because there are a few stories out there. Not enough to really, bunch panties, so to speak, but starting to hear more stories that those who have had the vaccine, some of their bodies are not receptive if you need to get an organ transplant. So,
I haven't seen that.
Again, I want to see more information on that. There's a lot of things I want to see more information on, and it doesn't make you a bad person for being a little cynical for all of these folks telling you, you better go out and get that shot. I know the previous 6 didn't really work, but this one's really going to protect you.
Especially when you have blue states, heavy blue lockdown states back at the beginning now are rejecting vaccine mandates, right?
Correct.
That's happening in New York City. A little too late. Too late for New York City, especially considering the U.S. Open tennis championship a couple of weeks ago. where they wouldn't let Joker in, Novak Djokovic, because he wasn't vaccinated. And now New York City has been ordered to reinstate all cops fired over vaccine mandates. How sweet and delicious is that? All the cops, all the first responders, anybody who was fired working for the government there in New York, the judge rejected these mandates, and they all have to be reinstated. That's awesome. Hopefully with back pay.
Manhattan Supreme Court Justice Lyle Frank said the city's vaccine mandate was invalid, quote, to the extent it has been used to impose a new condition of employment. And it goes on to say, this ruling makes clear that the mandate was wrong because its enforcement went past monetary sanctions. New York City's Department of Mental Health and Hygiene tried to enforce the city's COVID vaccine mandate through multiple means, including unpaid leaves, suspension, termination of employees who did not get the shot.
That's rough, especially if you're a first responder and you worked the first entire year without a vaccine and probably acquired COVID multiple times. And then you got fired. You're treated like a pariah. Joe Biden says it's a pandemic of the unvaccinated. You're shunned. Joe Biden literally blaming an entire group. How scary is this? The president of the United States blaming an entire group of people for the country's problems.
And pretty much throughout the whole month of June, he had COVID this year, right? Yeah. He got COVID. Yeah. All right, test came back, I'm good. 24 hours later, hot damn, I got it again. I just think they said that so they could hide him in the basement for a little while, to be honest with you. TK Dub, I think I need some mood music here. Oh, it's a coming. Hurricane Ian forecasts to hit Florida's Gulf Coast midweek, Nige. A place that you and I go quite a bit is looking like it could take a direct shot. That St. Pete, Tampa area.
Yeah.
This storm is brewing up right now in the Gulf, and it's expected Wednesday, maybe late Thursday, depending on how it turns, to make a hit into Florida.
I've got family down there. They packed up and drove to Atlanta today. They'll be staying there for the next couple of days. And then I've got really close friends that live there. They got evacuation orders that say, yeah, we're not going anywhere. We're going to ride the storm out, so to speak. And so it's one thing or another. It's pretty strong right now. What's it going to look like once it hits the Gulf? I don't think anybody can predict that. I hope it's
Cat 1 right now, from what we're hearing, it could be a Cat 3 by the time it makes landfall. We'll see what happens.
And I'm headed there a week from Wednesday.
Oh, to that area?
A little south of there.
Okay.
So flying into Sarasota. So it's obviously I hope everybody's going to be okay. And if you're riding it out down there, please be careful. Hope you take all the precautions. Hope you got generators. Hope you have food and water. But my some relatives are like not taking any chances. They headed to Atlanta today.
There are some folks that have hurricane parties. Like, this is something that we can't really relate to here, but they buy up a bunch of food, a bunch of booze, maybe get a keg, board up all their windows, have some buddies come over, and they just have themselves a hurricane party for a couple days.
That's the only negative about living down in that area. It's like once in a while you're going to have to look at each other. You're going to have to tell your family, all right, pack it up. We're driving north for a couple of days. Or you have to look at your family while it's raining cats and dogs and say, hey, just stick it out, nothing to worry about as the floods come in.
Right. To folks in Florida, though, I think they treat hurricanes like we do tornadoes. Like, if there's a tornado watch,
some of them do, yeah.
We still walk outside on our porch, ain't nothing gonna happen, this sucks. Like, if you're from California, and when I worked at the casino, we had a boss from California that had moved out to Indy. There was a tornado watch in place. This dude was ready to duck and cover under his desk. Yeah. And we're like, hey, just settle down. This happens all the time. We'll let you know if you hear sirens. That's when it gets kind of serious. People in Florida do that with hurricanes, but we will have our eye on this storm. See what I did right there? All week long. Matt Baer, what's up?
South side eastbound 465 crash clear at Harding Street, still stopped back to I-70. Then a crash inbound 70 at the north split on the ramp to northbound 65. The ramp is partially blocked, left lane traffic stop and go back to Rural Street. And the funeral procession for Richmond officer Sierra Burton has reached downtown Greenfield. That will continue on US 40 into downtown Indianapolis. Traffic sponsored by News Nation. Chris Cuomo joins News Nation. Cuomo premieres Monday, October 3rd at 8/7 Central on News Nation. Go to newsnationnow.com to find your channel. I'm Matt Baer. Follow us on Twitter for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
Right now, we've got 66 at the American Standard Cooling Weather Center. Is this anything? Next.
There's a reason Comcast Business powers more businesses than any other provider. Actually, there's a few. Comcast Business offers the fastest, reliable network, the peace of mind that comes with Security Edge, helping to protect all your connected devices, and the most reliable 5G mobile network. Want me to keep going? I can. Whether your small business is starting or growing, you need Comcast Business. Technology solutions that put you ahead and give you serious savings. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Get internet, security, and voice for just $40 per month for 12 months when you add mobile. Plus, get free installation and ask how to get a $500 prepaid card with a qualifying gig bundle. Ends 11/6/2022. Restrictions apply. Requires Eagle Bill and AutoPay. New Comcast Business 250 megabit per second internet. Security Edge and one voice line customers only. 2-year agreement required. Equipment taxes and other fees and subject to change. Must add mobile 90 days from internet install and keep all services for mobile discount. Comcast Business Mobile utilizes the network with the most RootMetrics 5G data reliability wins in 1H 2022. Results may vary. Award is not an endorsement.
Hey, you want to beat inflation? Well, Golden Oak Lending is here to help. They can tap into your growing home equity and put that cash to work for you. Talking about credit card debt, it's ridiculous. It's an all-time high, but it doesn't have to be for you. You're paying like 25% interest on credit cards. You can pay off that debt with a 4.75% fixed rate cash out refi from Golden Oak Lending. That's huge.
Find out how much you could save with Zipline. Zipline is Golden Oak Lending's fast and easy online mortgage tool. The average cash-out customer saves $904 a month. $904 a month, and that is just the average. So get the ball rolling right now. Contact Golden Oak Lending at 317-706-GOLD, 706-GOLD, or go to goldenoaklending.com. NMLS 114937, 4.75% fixed, 5.929% APR, FHA, 15-year mortgage with 20% equity and approved credit.
The Voice of Health Minute with Dr. Robert Prather of Holistic Integration.
Now, we find a great deal of benefit with psoriatic arthritis, rheumatoid arthritis, but osteoarthritis, really, chiropractic has to be a big part on that. Anytime that you're trying to change the posture or the structural alignment, there's just no doubt that that can help. People are coming in, hey doc, my orthopedic said if I keep going like I'm going, I'm going to have a knee replacement. It's bone on bone, and I don't know if I can take it anymore. The doc says, the longer I can go, the better. We do an adjustment, and then they stand up and they say, oh my gosh, that feels better immediately. Wow, how long can we do this for? And we could probably add another 5 years before you have to have the surgery. With the spine, absolutely, we can get some incredible changes. People with osteoarthritis, we do an adjustment on them. It's immediate relief.
The Voice of Health with Dr. Robert Prather, Sundays at 8 p.m. or anytime at thevoiceofhealthradio.com.
Nobody cares for you like family. Family Heating and Air.
Maintenance is going to drastically increase the efficiency and performance of your system. It's also going to significantly improve the longevity of it. People think that they are saving money by skipping their maintenance, and in reality, they're just shaving years off the life and increasing the consumption of that unit, spending a lot more in the long term.
Get your tune-up today at Family Heating and Air, your trusted local independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
This hour on 93 WIBC, powered by Family Heating and Air Conditioning, your independent American Standard air dealer in Indianapolis. Hammer and Nigel presents
It depends upon what the meaning of the word is.
Is this anything?
On 93 WIBC.
All right, Hammer, let's have it. You're going to give me some stories. I will tell you if they are anything or not. Let's go.
Is this anything? An American Airlines flight had its intercom hacked by a person who grunted and moaned the entire trip. Here are some of the noises being made on the American Airlines intercom, along with an apology from the flight crew.
Ladies and gentlemen, we realize there is an extremely irritating sound coming over the public announcements. The flight deck is trying to troubleshoot, trying to turn it off. So please be patient with us. We know this is a very odd anomaly, and none of us are enjoying it. So we do appreciate your patience for a few more moments so we figure out how to turn it off. Thank you.
That is something. Of course, Mondo. We're gonna need to hear so we're supposed to believe somebody hacked into the intercom on the airplane at 30,000 feet and started going. Ugh.
Now, it might not have been somebody on the plane. It could have been somebody in their living room somewhere.
Scary. Play that again, and then play the end of the apology.
Ladies and gentlemen, we realize there is an
I mean, look, if they can hack the intercom, can they hack the communication between the pilots and air traffic control? That's actually, I mean, we're laughing about this now, and I would probably be giggling my ass off throughout the entire flight. If just randomly I'm sitting there, oh, yeah. Oh.
It'd be fun for about 15 minutes, but on a 3.5-hour flight to Vegas, it would get pretty damn old after a while.
My eyes are watering. I mean, I wonder how that. I'd like to know more about that. How exactly that happened. I want to know the age of the person that was doing this. Some 12-year-old nerd hacker in his mom's basement. Yeah, but there is an element that's a little disturbing, especially when if you can hack the intercom that airs over the entire airplane, what can you do with the computer systems, the automation systems,
right?
The communications between air traffic control and the pilot is kind of, when you think big picture, that's pretty scary.
Your flight has been rerouted to Guam. Land in Guam.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to take this time to announce this is your pilot speaking. We're flying directly to Ukraine. We're flying into Russia. You're all conscripted to be soldiers in Putin's army.
I got one. Can I give one to you?
Sure.
So you're a baseball guy. You play baseball. Your kids play baseball. Some history was made over the weekend. Friday night, Albert Pujols, so the St. Louis Cardinals, hits his 700th home run. Right, only the fourth player to achieve that. I mean, that's a pretty big milestone in Major League Baseball. Correct?
That's a big one right there.
It happened on the road. It happened at Dodger Stadium. The LA fans were pretty excited. Here is the big moment: Albert Pujols' 700th home run.
Albert Pujols, homered earlier tonight, is one swing away from 700 career home runs. Pujols sends one in the air. It's deep to left. It's 700. Albert Pujols has joined the 700 home run club.
Is this something?
This is something.
He's been around for a while.
Oh, yeah, he's been around for a while. And listen, as much as I hate to say it, because he plays in those damn dirty, no good, rotten, unfortunately, first place St. Louis Cardinals, this is something, man. And even the Dodger fans, they were waiting for this. They gave him a standing ovation. The Dodgers players came out. You think about how long Major League Baseball has been played. Only 3 other guys have gone over 700 home runs. You've got Barry Bonds, who a lot of people suspect was juiced for a lot of those with steroids. Babe Ruth and Hank Aaron.
Is Barry in the record books, though? Is he still in the official record books?
He's in the record books, but he's not in the Hall of Fame. Okay. So baseball had a big moral crisis there for a while.
So how long? So he's got a chance to go over 700. Will he do it before the end of? I mean, the season's got to be coming to an end pretty soon, right?
Yeah, there's about a week left in the season, so
he's got a shot.
I think he's done, though, at the end of this year. I think he's signed this deal with the Cardinals to kind of ride off in the sunset, because the last couple of years he's bounced around a little bit, went to the Dodgers for a little bit and played in some other spots, but he wanted to retire with the team that he made his mark with, which was St. Louis. So this was kind of the last dance, if you want to call it that, for Albert Pujols.
Isn't he the one that hung one on our pal Drew Storen from the Nationals back in the playoffs when he was a reliever? We've had Drew in the studio before,
right?
I guess, and that was during the playoffs, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he was.
But listen, Drew Storen, you're in good company, kid.
Yeah.
There's a lot of dudes who have served one up to Albert Pujols. So congratulations, and now we keep our eye on Aaron Judge.
Yeah.
Because he is trying to set the single-season American League record for home runs. He's at 60. 61 was set by Roger Maris.
There's movies about that.
Right. And from what we know, it sounds like Aaron Judge is doing this clean, has never, failed any sort of drug test or steroid tests or anything. He's just a big, strong, massive dude that hits bombs. So he's one away from tying Roger Maris.
Let's do this last one here. We've got time.
Is this anything? This is a guy at karaoke going from his regular voice to his impression of Scooby-Doo's Shaggy.
No.
Is that right?
No. The musician that came from Jamaica.
Why would anybody want to do an impression of that guy?
Listen to the song. Just play it, Mondo.
You're my friend when I'm in need. Like the Lord big body with his spirit. Who's gonna have your mind?
Oh, I see what he's doing. The singer Shaggy.
And you know what? I think this is something. What it is cultural appropriation. You have a skinny white kid appropriating a Jamaican accent, and I don't think this is appropriate at all. And I think he needs to be canceled.
I think Stacey Abrams needs to look into this. Anna Navarro needs to look into this. I think you're absolutely right. It's the Hammer and Nigel show.
Recovery is courage. In a culture where there's a stigma around recovery, I've learned to have the courage to tell my story to inspire courage in others. I know one of the hardest things to do is to have the courage to start recovery. I've gotten to live the life of my dreams simply by having the courage to say, it is time for a change in my life. Find the courage to live a healthier you by visiting landmarkrecovery.com or call 1-866-LANDMARK today.
All-Star Roofing, Siding, and More did a tremendous job on my house. I had some severe siding issues. It was rotting away. There were woodpecker holes, parts of my house. They came out and had it fixed within a few days. It looks great. If you have any sort of wear and tear or damage to your roof from the storms over the summer, get a hold of All-Star Roofing, Siding, and More.
As the leaves start to fall off the trees, perhaps they get stuck in your gutters. Now is the time to think about either cleaning the gutters or getting some gutter covers. Maybe you're going to replace the whole thing. I don't know. But All-Star Roofing, Siding, and More, they can do that. I know this because they did it to my house, and it was the owner, Tom Myers, that came by and did it. So whether you're looking for gutters, siding, roofing, painting, interior or exterior repairs, let Tom Myers and All-Star Roof, Siding, and More be the ones that come out. 317-522-6409 or visit allstarroofingsiding.com. Tell them Hammer and Nigel sent you.
Diamonds Direct's unbelievable zero-interest finance offer is coming to a close, but you have until this Sunday to take advantage of 5 years zero-interest financing on any purchase. Now more than ever, it's the smartest way to buy. You can get that engagement ring or fabulous piece of designer jewelry and spread your payments over 5 years without paying a dime in interest. This amazing offer is good through this weekend only. Diamonds Direct, your love, our passion. Get all the details, including special Sunday hours, at diamondsdirect.com on approved credit.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
How she's being remembered. 66 and cloudy downtown with a mostly clear radar. Lows into the 40s tonight. I'm Harrison Silcox. Here's what's trending at 4:31. A police officer shot and killed in Richmond, remembered this morning.
If it is your goal to honor Sierra, you must not leave here today with a heart full of anger and sadness. To do that would be the opposite of the way Sierra lived her life.
Mayor David Snow says Sierra Burton has united the community. Her fiance, Sierra Neal, also spoke.
I told her I would completely support her in her career, but even in that moment, I still felt there's no way something like this could happen to such a wonderful human.
Burton will be buried at Crown Hill Cemetery later today. The procession will also make its way through downtown at some point. Matt Baer will update you with any delays from the WIBC Traffic Center. Florida is preparing for Hurricane Ian. Fox's Gernal Scott reports.
FEMA Administrator Deanne Criswell says Ian brings a threat to Florida's west coast, which it hasn't seen for a century.
I also worry about individuals that have moved to the area that have never experienced a hurricane.
Criswell urges those in the potential impact zone to get alerts and also,
if you're asked to evacuate, know where you're going to go.
Gernal Scott, Fox News.
A court ruling in Arizona could ban almost all abortions in the state if it isn't reversed. White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre called it dangerous during a Monday press briefing.
This ban would take Arizona women back to more than 150 years and subject them to a law from 1864, a time before Arizona was even a state.
Many Republicans say they prefer abortion be left up to the states because of varying opinions on the issue. Gas prices will likely go back up soon. John Herrick tells you why.
Some stations in Indiana have already had price increases to roughly $4 a gallon. Gas Buddy says that's because of service interruptions and glitches to oil refineries, and some other refineries are just going through routine maintenance. It also could get worse depending on how bad Hurricane Ian is in the coming days. John Herrick, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
And your stock report, the Dow fell 329 to 29,260. The NASDAQ also down 65 points to 10,802. And the S&P 500 falling 38 points to 3,655. You're 1 minute away from traffic and weather. It's 4:33.
Hey, even if you're not a football fan, you're going to love halftime at Window Nation. Right now, score new windows for your home at half the price. Get 2 free windows with every 2 you buy with no payments until 2025. And at that rate, you could take it to the house, the whole house, and only pay for half.
Window Nation's professional team has drawn up this winning game plan to save you money now and for many seasons ahead. Their beautiful, energy-efficient windows are expertly fit to your home by the installers who average more than 15 years of experience. They've tackled over 250,000 projects and saved homeowners millions of dollars on energy bills alone. With another brutal winter on the way and energy costs continuing to skyrocket, these incredible savings couldn't come at a better time. But Window Nation's halftime is for a limited time. Make the call today and get 2 free windows with every 2 that you buy and pay nothing until 2025. 866-90-NATION or go to windownation.com and tell them Hammer and Nigel sent you.
With traffic at 4:34, here's Matt Baer.
Harrison Northwest side crash, southbound 465 at 86th Street. And right out of the left lane is blocked. Looking at the west side, disabled semi still at the bottom of the ramp from southbound 465 to Rockville Road. The ramp is open but partially blocked. Crash clear inbound 70 at the north split, still stopped back to Rural Street. We're moving a little bit at least. And eastbound 70 jams at Belmont to Meridian, Illinois. Traffic sponsored by Drexel Interiors. Go where the pros go. Drexel Interiors for Timberlake Kitchen and Bath Cabinets. Visit Drexel's Design Centers at 146th Street and River Road or on North Shadeland, DrexelIN.com. I'm Matt Baer. Follow us on Twitter for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
And the forecast from the American Standard Cooling Weather Center.
We're in for a chilly night tonight with winds calming down a bit, lows falling into the mid-40s. And Tuesday, another marvelous fall-like afternoon with a few passing clouds and breezy winds, highs in the low to mid-60s. I'm Witch TV Storm Track Gate meteorologist Stephen Deanna for 93 WIBC.
And I'm Harrison Silcox. On the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
You're listening to the Hammer and Nigel Show on 93 WIBC.
It is the Hammer and Nigel Show.
Hello.
I'm Jason Hammer. Big Nige is here. I want to go back to the WIBC Traffic Center where Matt Baer is keeping an eye on the funeral procession for fallen Richmond Police Department K-9 officer Sierra Burton. The service took place earlier at Richmond High School, and now the motorcade, the procession, is on its way to Crown Hill Cemetery. Matt, what's the latest?
It's heading west on US 40 through Hancock County right now. In fact, I've been told the procession has reached Cumberland, just east of Indianapolis, and stretches back about, I'm saying about 15 miles at the moment through downtown Greenfield. So it's a huge procession right now, making its way towards the east side of Indianapolis. It's going to continue then on Washington Street to Illinois, so through downtown, then head north on Illinois up to Crown Hill Cemetery.
Thank you so much, Matt. We'll check back in here in just a little bit. I hope people are patient with what's going on, because every time one of these situations happen, Nige, there's always some lunatic that'll send us a tweet or he'll post on social media, I can't believe I'm stuck in traffic because of all this. Rabble. Dude, there are families that are grieving right now that would love to have your problems. So try to keep things in perspective. With that being said, Nigel.
Yes.
Megamondo, let's check in with one wheeling, dealing, hair sniffing, kiss stealing, Joe Biden!
I got hairy legs.
Look, Pat, look, here's the deal.
Thank you, Dr. Pepper.
Thank you, Dr. Pepper. So Joe Biden's out there on the trail. He's trying to hype up the base ahead of the midterms, right?
Yeah.
Well, he's basically lying through his dentures. Listen to this. He had a speech over the weekend where he says in 41 states plus D.C., the average price of gas is less than $2.99?
And in 41 states plus the District of Columbia, the average gasoline price is less than $2.99.
Now, wait a minute. Hold on. That's a complete lie. Even CNN and NBC have called him out on this. Do you know how many states have the average gas price under $2.99?
There's no way it's that way in California. It's not been anywhere near $2.99 in Indiana. I wouldn't have the slightest idea.
Zero.
You're
Zero
kidding.
places in America have gas under $2.99, according to Gas Buddy and AAA. That same piece of information was put on a disclaimer from both NBC and CNN after Joe Biden said, 41 states plus D.C., the average gas price is less than $2.99.
Wow. Disclaimers from CNN and NBC?
Rare acts of journalism. I can't believe it.
Wow.
Now, Joe Biden, earlier today, he welcomed the Atlanta Braves to the White House. The Braves won the World Series a year ago, so they're in D.C., they're playing the Nationals, they make their visit. Take a listen to this. Now, what I'm going to play you is Joe Biden talking about the Braves and how you guys did great, you grounded out, and then you beat the Braves. And then I'm going to compare that with big lunatic John Fetterman from Pennsylvania trying to talk sports at his rally where he says the Eagles are better than the Eagles. So if you want to hear lunatics trying to talk sports, turn this up.
Play by play, inning by inning, you ground it out, and you did it together. You made the playoffs and beat the Braves, the Brewers, and the Dodgers.
And the Eagles are so much better than the Eagles.
What? So we're going to play this again here in just a moment. Joe Biden telling the Braves, you guys did it together. You ground it out. Well, if you ground it out, that's probably not a good thing, Joe. And then he says the Braves, but then switches it quickly to the Brewers. And I don't know what the hell Fetterman's talking about.
Play by play, inning by inning, you ground it out, and you
ground it out.
You made the playoffs and beat the Braves, the Brewers, and the Dodgers.
And the Eagles are so much better than the Eagles.
Yeah, I mean, both of these guys, I mean, at least Fetterman has somewhat of an excuse, is that he had a stroke and he's still trying to overcome some of the limitations that are hampering him. I don't think he's in any way, shape, or form ready to be a senator and with all the job requirements that involves. But Dementia Joe, I mean, he's just, he's out of it, man. I don't know which is worse. And I think there's something else that people aren't talking about. The Atlanta Braves at the White House. Didn't Major League Baseball yank the All-Star game from Atlanta last season? Or was it this season?
2 years ago.
Was it a year or two ago? Because of voting rights laws, oppressive voting, the perception that there was voter suppression going on.
Stacey Abrams lost. That's what it was. Stacey Abrams lost despite record level turnout. They said that there were voting irregularities.
And don't the Braves,
suppression.
That's an American Indian type of cultural appropriation in terms of the name. The fans still do they still do the thing?
Sure they do. The tomahawk chop.
And I believe even somebody was calling out Karine Jean-Pierre, the White House press secretary, about that today. And she goes, well, does Joe Biden support the tomahawk chop or whatever it is? She's like, well, that's certainly a conversation we have to have. There's a lot of hypocrisy going on right now. And I love it. I love it that the Braves won the World Series a few months after having the All-Star game yanked from their stadium. And not only that, but having millions of dollars and vendors and people left without gigs because of that. They were counting on those gigs.
Right.
There were still beer vendors,
hotels, restaurants,
everybody. And now all of a sudden, Joe Biden is embracing a team from Georgia, much less the Atlanta Braves.
And he did that interview on 60 Minutes about 2 years ago, remember, where he was calling for the All-Star game to move.
Wow.
The Braves, they were the bigger man today. They showed up to the White House. They presented the jersey. They did the things. And then Biden, he's so out of it. He holds up the jersey, and it looks like if somebody were to give your grandmother a Wu-Tang shirt. He's kind of smiling. He's got that blank look on his face.
What did I do with this? They said, Joe, hold up the jersey.
Tomahawk chop. I have never made one of those before. I haven't eaten pork chops.
Could you imagine if he would have started doing the tomahawk? Given anything. All right, everybody, on a count of three. Is it the
right?
Kind of like Florida State,
right?
Okay, same deal.
Same deal.
Unbelievable.
On the topic of the upcoming midterm elections, former Biden spokeswoman and White House press secretary Jen Psaki,
the press secretary with the extremely red hair,
she's now got a gig at NBC. And she admits that this midterm, it's a referendum on the president. And if people view it that way, Biden's going to lose.
If it is a referendum on the president, they will lose. And they know that. They also know that crime is a huge vulnerability for Democrats. I would say one of the biggest vulnerabilities.
Democrats will lose if this is a referendum on Joe Biden, according to the former Biden spokeswoman.
That's amazing. And everybody knows it. Nobody wants Biden to run. There's polling that says hardly any Democrats want Joe Biden to run in 2024. She's not saying anything that's groundbreaking. I guess maybe it's because she worked in the Biden administration. It's noteworthy and people are paying attention to it. But we all know that.
Right. The Dems, it feels like, though, they're trying to bring the big guns out right now, trying to salvage the midterms. They dusted off the old bones of Hillary Clinton. And they're taking her around city to city right now. She spoke over the weekend, and she compared Trump supporters to Nazis.
I remember as a young student, trying to figure out how did people get basically drawn in by Hitler? How did that happen? And I'd watch newsreels, and I'd see this guy standing up there ranting and raving, and people shouting and raising their arms. I thought, what's happened to these people? Why did they believe that? You saw the rally in Ohio the other night. Trump is there ranting and raving for more than an hour, and you have these rows of young men with their arms raised. I thought, what is going on?
So Trump is Hitler, and anybody that voted for Trump, anybody that was at that rally, anybody that has Republican values is a Nazi. It's out of the open. This, again, talk about not being a surprise. That's all they have at this point. And talk about a bitter old loser. Hillary Clinton is a hag. She really is. I mean, look at her. Her husband cheated on her with gross fat chicks.
And it was still an upgrade.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, you're a perennial loser when it comes to your presidential runs, and nobody is paying attention to you. I don't know who's paying. Where was she at? The Texas Tribune Festival? Could you imagine paying whatever fee she got, whatever mid-six-figure fee Hillary Clinton got to go hear her call a bunch of people Nazis? And what constitutes, like, is it just the extreme MAGA Republicans? Are those Nazis? But we haven't quite defined what an extremist MAGA Republican is. And they purposely keep that term vague because they want to paint every Republican with that brush.
Right. And then when they get called on it, they can walk it back a little bit if they want to.
Not everybody. I mean, even Joe Biden. Well, no, not all the Trump supporters. I really think she's incredibly irrelevant at this point. She's a criminal and she's a liar, and it's Republicans being painted as semi. What are the names? What are some of the names Republicans have been called?
White supremacists, racist, semi-fascist. Yes,
I mean, and the Nazi Hitler thing's been there from the very beginning.
Right.
It's all just. It's like it loses its power. It loses its meaning. Wait, you think immigrants need identification to vote? You're a racist. That's racist. That term doesn't mean anything to me.
And it waters down the term, and people who are really what you're talking about or victims of what you're talking about, it's insulting to them. So while Clinton was at the Texas Tribune Festival, the Democrats decided to dust the old bones of another woman off at the Global Citizen Festival in Manhattan, a festival for green issues. Here's a hint of who they brought out.
That's not.
Nancy Pelosi flew into New York on her broom. She landed at LaGuardia. She made her way to the Global Citizen Festival in Central Park, Manhattan. This should be a friendly crowd, right? They're talking about green issues. These are the people going to save the planet. Here's Nancy Pelosi getting booed off the stage.
I couldn't talk about it.
Now, that's one person's video. And you're probably thinking to yourself, okay, one person's video, maybe it was at an angle, maybe there were people around. Here's another video, longer, and this was taken like above the crowd where you can hear everybody. A green festival in New York.
Okay, but that just tells me something. Nancy Pelosi, as left-wing, as progressive, as radical as she is not nearly as radical as these green lunatics want her to be. You remember she mocked AOC's Green New Deal proposal. Oh, Green Dream or whatever. Yeah, okay. Radical Nancy Pelosi, not radical enough for this crowd of lunatics.
Let that sink in for a moment. All right, let's give some stuff away. We got tickets to go see Killer Queen, a tribute to Queen, an awesome Queen cover band. They're coming to the Egyptian Room at Old National Center, October 11th. So if you want to go see this tribute to Queen, we have a fun little game for you, but you have to be caller number 9 right now. 239-9393. That's 239-9393. Good luck.
There's a reason Comcast Business powers more businesses than any other provider. Actually, there's a few. Comcast Business offers the fastest, reliable network, the peace of mind that comes with Security Edge, helping to protect all your connected devices, and the most reliable 5G mobile network. Want me to keep going? I can. Whether your small business is starting or growing, you need Comcast Business. Technology solutions that put you ahead and give you serious savings. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Get Internet, Security, and Voice for just $40 per month for 12 months when you add mobile. Plus, get free installation and ask how to get a $500 prepaid card with a qualifying gig bundle. Ends 11/6/2022. Restrictions apply. Requires Eagle Bill and autopay. New Comcast Business 250 megabit per second internet. Security edge and one voice line customers only. 2-year agreement required. Equipment taxes and other fees and subject to change. Must add mobile 90 days from internet install and keep all services for mobile discount. Comcast Business Mobile utilizes the network with the most RootMetrics 5G data reliability wins in 1H 2022. Results may vary. Award is not an endorsement.
The Singer Financial team knows all the complicated stuff that goes into planning for retirement, and they can help you with the fun stuff too, your vision of retirement. Do you plan on living on a more liberating budget than just Social Security would provide? Do you know how to make Social Security work best for you with your other investments? That's where our friend Brian Singer comes in. He puts together the pieces. He puts it all, it's a big puzzle, and they put it together in a big comprehensive retirement plan, including identifying the best way to use your Social Security.
Whatever your visions are, let the Singer Financial Group come up with a plan specifically for you. Every plan that they create is done specific to the individual. Contact them today, 317-852-9153. Located in Central Indy, in Brownsburg, 852-9153, or go to singerfinancialgroup.com. Investment advisory services offered through registered investment advisors Howard Bailey Securities, LL3, and AE Wealth Management, LLC. Working with Singer Financial cannot guarantee investment success or that specific financial goals will be achieved.
Family Dollar has the spookiest deals to help you do more for your family this Halloween. Stop by and start booing things up with our huge variety of outdoor and indoor Halloween decorations. Discover a great selection of costume accessories to complete the perfect look. And of course, find all your favorite treats. For a limited time, select bags of Halloween candy, including Snickers, M&Ms, and Reese's, are buy two, get one free. Family Dollar, helping you do more.
Need to beat inflation? Golden Oak Lending is here to help.
Inflation has credit card balances at an all-time high. Why pay up to 25% interest when Golden Oak can pay off that debt at 4.75% fixed?
Our low mortgage rates make you the winner.
Call 317-706-GOLD to lock in your 4.75% rate today.
Golden Oak Lending cured my blues.
NMLS 114937. 4.75% fixed, 5.929% APR. FHA 15-year mortgage with 20% equity and approved credit.
Matt Bear has a look at the roads.
It's a crash in Carmel, westbound 465 before Spring Mill Road. It's right around US 31. That's blocking the left lane here at the moment. Traffic is stopped back to Westfield Boulevard. A disabled semi at the bottom of the ramp, southbound 465 to Rockville Road. Ramp is open, partially blocked. Southbound 465 at 86, crash blocking the left lane. And the funeral procession for Richmond Officer Sierra Burnton has made its way through Cumberland on westbound 40, approaching Indianapolis on Washington Street. It'll make its way through downtown. Traffic sponsored by Drexel Interiors. Go where the pros go. Drexel Interiors. For Timberlake Kitchen and Bath Cabinets, visit Drexel's Design Centers at 146th Street and River Road, or on North Shadeland, drexelin.com. I'm Matt Bear. Follow us on Twitter for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
All right, 67 at the American Standard Cooling Weather Center. Andrea was caller number 9. Andrea, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Good. So on the line here, 2 tickets to go see Killer Queen, a tribute to Queen, October 11th at the Egyptian Room. I'm going to give you something that's either a line to a Queen song or something you would hear from the Jimmy Dean complaint line if you're complaining about sausage. It's called Killer Queen or Jimmy Dean. You get this right, I'll give you the tickets, okay?
Okay.
I don't like your 16-ounce package of maple and sage. I don't eat that. I'm not from the North. Killer Queen or Jimmy Dean?
I'm going to go with Jimmy Dean.
Yeah! There we go. Congratulations, Andrea. Stay on the line.
That was easy.
Mondo will take care of you. We'll play this game again tomorrow. It's the Hammer and Nigel Show.
Your home is your sanctuary. Get the peace of mind you deserve with a free estimate on a Generac automatic standby generator for your home from Generator Supercenter, the nation's #1 Generac generator dealer. With expert installation and 24-hour monitoring, Generator Supercenter won't leave you in the dark. Financing is available. Take control of your power today with Generator Supercenter. Call 317-827-0808. Generator Supercenter of Indianapolis, 317-827-0808.
I'm Tom Shane with Shane Company. Have you ever considered what a natural diamond means to the communities where diamonds come from? Natural diamonds support the livelihood of 10 million people around the world. They provide safe, high-quality jobs in diamond mining countries, including South Africa, Botswana, Angola, and Canada, countries where many of our diamonds are recovered. They help fund women-owned businesses across Africa. Natural diamonds help provide access to health care for more than 4 million people and access to education for countless children, including over 500,000 children in rural communities. They're a powerful gift to a country's development and help ensure a lasting legacy for future generations. To learn more about the positive impact of natural diamonds, visit Shanco.com/natural-diamonds. Now you have a friend in the jewelry business. Shane Company and Shanco.com.
The Singer Financial team knows all the complicated stuff that goes into planning for retirement, and they can help you with the fun stuff, too, your vision of retirement. Do you plan on living on a more liberating budget than just Social Security would provide? Do you know how to make Social Security work best for you with your other investments? That's where our friend Brian Singer comes in. He puts together the pieces. He puts it all, it's a big puzzle, and they put it together in a big comprehensive retirement plan, including identifying the best way to use your Social Security.
Whatever your visions are, let the Singer Financial Group come up with a plan specifically for you. Every plan that they create is done specific to the individual. Contact them today, 317-852-9153. Located in Central Indy, in Brownsburg, 852-9153, or go to singerfinancialgroup.com. Investment advisory services offered through registered investment advisors Howard Bailey Securities, LL3, and AE Wealth Management, LLC. Working with Singer Financial cannot guarantee investment success or that specific financial goals will be achieved.
As a parent, you want the best education for your child. Choose Marian University Preparatory School for this school year. Their faith-based online private school is currently enrolling students in grades 6 through 9. Your child will benefit from their personalized college prep curriculum and supportive community. Financial aid is available through the Indiana Choice Scholarship. To learn more about the unique educational experience of Marian University Preparatory School, visit k12.com/Marian. That's k12.com/MARIAN.
Need to beat inflation? Golden Oak Lending is here to help.
Inflation has credit card balances at an all-time high. Why pay up to 25% interest when Golden Oak can pay off that debt at 4.75% fixed?
Our low mortgage rates make you the winner.
Call 317-706-GOLD to lock in your 4.75% rate today.
Golden Oak Lending cured my blues.
NMLS 114937. 4.75% fixed, 5.929% APR. FHA 15-year mortgage with 20% equity and approved credit.
Coming up in 2 minutes, how Richmond police officer Sierra Burton was remembered by friends, family, and the community today. A drunk driver in Zionsville was arrested Saturday after running from the cops, and a company that operates several Dairy Queens in the state is in some trouble. All that and more after Fox News Radio from the Shepherd Community Center studios. You're listening to 93 WIBC, WIBC HD1 Indianapolis. It's 5 o'clock.
They're hoping for the best and preparing for the worst. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News.
People are remembering the last storm that hit Tampa Bay, which was 100 years ago. This could very well be that next 100-year storm.
Scott Hopes is the administrator for Manatee County, urging Floridians to take Hurricane Ian seriously. Governor Ron DeSantis already has a state of emergency in effect, with thousands of National Guard members activated.
What we're telling people is please be listening to what your local officials on the emergency management side are directing.
Evacuations already underway, especially in some low-lying areas along Florida's Gulf Coast, where Ian could make landfall as a major hurricane Wednesday into Thursday. Some counties also canceling school for the next few days, preparing to use some schools as shelters. President Biden just meeting with his competition council, calling it a moment of global uncertainty, noting inflation and the war in Ukraine. But he says the U.S. is in a stronger position than any other country to navigate global challenges, and he again defends his policies. But stocks sink again, continuing last week's sell-off, driven in part by recession fears.
There was an early comeback this morning. It completely failed to hold. Broad-based declines yet again on Wall Street. So at the bell, the Dow fell over 1% or minus 300 plus points. in bear market territory, which is a drop of 20% from its recent highs.
Fox Business's Lauren Simonetti. The Dow finishing at 29,260. The S&P also dropping more than 1%. The Nasdaq sliding 65 points. Police in Chicago just confirming that a suspect shot by police earlier today got into a building where a SWAT team exercise was underway and grabbed at least 2 guns before he was shot and wounded. Police say the man had been asking where to go to retrieve personal property and used a fire escape to get in. America is listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
How she was remembered. Cloudy and 66 downtown with a clear radar. Low of 45 tonight. I'm Harrison Silcox. Here's what's trending at 5:02. A flag-draped casket at Richmond High School. Colleagues and family of Officer Sierra Burton surrounded her to honor and remember Monday. Chris Davis reports.
We are not naive to the fact that we are surrounded by evil and violence.
Lieutenant Donnie Benedict doing more than just honoring Burton, who was shot in August and died September 18th.
We also know that evil and violence can rear its ugly head in our community, just like many other communities around this country.
He acknowledged the shooting death of Elwood officer Noah Chenevez, buried just weeks before Burton. But her sacrifice was fully acknowledged with the words of Christ in song.
It's the greatest love of all.
Chris Davis, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
The procession on its way to Crown Hill Cemetery will cause some traffic delays in Indy. Matt Bear will let you know about any of them at the WIBC Traffic Center. A drunk driver was arrested Saturday night in Zionsville. Police say Timothy Kennedy drove a truck off the road, rolled it over 3 times. When the cops got there, Kennedy tried to run away, but he didn't make it very far, say police. He's facing several charges, including driving while intoxicated, and he also had 2 passengers in the car with him. They're in the hospital being treated for injuries. A tanker truck in Jasper County hit the back of a state trooper's car this morning. Police say it happened around 5 a.m. on I-65 when state police were helping a towing company move a semi-truck on the side of the interstate. That's when the truck side-swiped a trooper's car and an officer was inside. That officer is expected to recover from some injuries in the hospital. Police are investigating what happened. A company that operates several Dairy Queens in Indiana violated child labor laws. Jaden Arnold reports.
In a recent release, the U.S. Department of Labor found 102 minors ages 14 and 15 working in violation of the Fair Labor Standards Act. All these minors worked at Dairy Queen stores in Fort Wayne, Indianapolis, and others under an LLC called H&H Coldwater. Now, H&H Coldwater has to pay over $42,000 in civil money penalties, all because they didn't account for child labor laws. Jaden Arnold, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
You're 1 minute away from traffic and weather. It's 5:04.
The Dow, the S&P, and the Nasdaq are all dropping like a rock. And unfortunately, we could see even more losses in the months to come. But there is a way you could stop the bleeding. Learn how you could avoid losing another dime with your IRA and 401k. Capture the gains when the market goes up and get a 14% bonus on your retirement funds. It's Terry Stacy, and it doesn't get any better than that. Don't lose another dime with your IRA and 401k. Capture the gains when the market goes up and get a 14% bonus on your retirement funds. To learn more, call Bill Demery, my retirement guy, at 317-349-5212. Bill's helped my family, and he can help you too. Call 317-349-5212. 317-349-5212.
With traffic on the 5s at 5:05, here's Matt Bear.
Northside crash, westbound 465 after US 31 East Street. That's blocking the left lane. It's completely stopped traffic almost to Keystone Avenue. Also backing up southbound 31 in Carmel from 111th Street down to 465. Exit lanes to 465, especially bad. Northwest side crash, southbound 465 at 86th Street, blocking the left lane. And then Washington Street westbound lanes, very busy right now, very congested with the funeral procession of Sierra Burton, the Richmond police officer that was slain in the line of duty. Westbound Washington Street is going to be busy as it makes its way into downtown, and then northbound on Illinois to Crown Hill Cemetery. Traffic sponsored by Staples Stores. Staples Stores are a new world of possible with innovative tools for small business and remote workers and learners. Explore more at your local Staples store, staplesconnect.com. I'm Matt Bear. Follow us on Twitter for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
And here's the forecast from the American Standard Cooling Weather Center.
Winds will become light tonight as we work in another chilly night with partly cloudy skies. Lows dip into the mid-40s. Tuesday, an absolutely beautiful and comfortable afternoon with a few passing clouds. Winds do become breezy once again as highs rise into the low to mid-60s. Wednesday, we open up more sunshine with lighter winds and cool temperatures. Highs only top out in the mid-60s. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Stephen Deanna for 93 WIBC.
And I'm Harrison Silcox. On the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Hammer and Nigel.
Can you believe these characters are weirdos?
On 93 WIBC.
So let's rock it!
The funeral for fallen Richmond PD K-9 officer Sierra Burton, heartbreaking and touching and emotional and beautiful all at the same time, Hammer. And it's nice to see the community embrace her and her family, and of course law enforcement from all over the state, if not the country, with tributes pouring in as well.
And unfortunately, this is the second time that we've seen something like this in just a couple of months. We went through this process with fallen Elwood officer Noah Shanavaz, and now today we say farewell to Sierra Burton. Her funeral took place at Richmond High School earlier today, and right now, you heard Matt Bear at the top of the hour, that procession is making its way to Crown Hill Cemetery, should be there very shortly, and Matt will give you the absolute latest on what that means for lane restrictions, road restrictions, things like that. But let's go back a little bit earlier today to that service they had at Richmond High School. This is Amy Miller, the stepmother of Sierra Burton. Now, Amy is also in law enforcement, and she had a very emotional speech talking about her relationship with Sierra.
Sierra was my stepdaughter, but I did not see her as a stepdaughter. I saw her as my daughter. I may not have given birth to her, but in my heart she was my daughter and will forever be. Sierra was the strongest woman I've ever known. And she recently just showed the world just how strong she was. Junior, I was honored to work beside you. And I was honored to be your bonus mom. I promise I will continue to take care of your mother and give Brev the best life ever. We will continue to love and care for baby mama. So please watch over us. And rest easy, sweet girl. I love you.
Man, watching the loved ones speak at these never gets any easier, man. It's just so emotional, so touching. This is Sierra's fiance. Her name is also Sierra. She had a really emotional speech as well.
I feel an emptiness without her here, but I will forever be thankful for the purest love she gave me and the wonderful family and friends she has that have become mine. Sierra, I promise to carry you with me in my heart everywhere I go, and to love you and live for you until we meet again, my love. Thank you.
So again, that funeral procession making its way to Indy from Richmond, and we'll have more on that coming up in just a little bit.
This is a new book is claiming that Trump called Mitch McConnell a piece of bleep.
I believe it. I believe
That's the thing with these books and Trump is like some of the claims that they make, and they even interviewed him a couple times for this thing. So the Atlantic published an excerpt of New York Times Maggie Haberman's new book, which I have no idea why Trump is doing interviews with biased reporters from the New York Times. So they published this little clip that included Trump's criticisms of some of the top Senate Republicans. Trump reportedly told Haberman, "The old crow's a piece of bleep."
And that would be in regards to one Cocaine Mitch.
Trump, according to Haberman, also taking jabs at DeSantis, calling the Florida governor a, quote, opportunist, and insulting him over his weight.
Trump's calling somebody fat? Now, wait a minute. Hold on here.
Now, look, Haberman, here's the thing. I don't know why Trump does these interviews with, whether it be Axios or Stephanopoulos or the New York Times. He's got an ego. He's got to be liked by these people for some reason. Or maybe he just wants to go toe-to-toe with them. I don't know. But Haberman says she interviewed him like 3 times for the book following his time, after the White House. It's called Confidence Man, The Making of Donald Trump and the Breaking of America. It'll be out, I believe, next week, October 4th. But look, if she's interviewing him personally and he's saying these things, and it's not secondhand or third-hand or hearsay, that's something different. But it is funny. Trump, I mean, that's true. I don't know how much credibility the New York Times has with me in terms of covering Trump or talking about Trump or anything like that.
And Haberman specifically.
Sure. So, but if he was insulting DeSantis over his weight, hold on there, pal. Hold on for a second.
Let's pump the brakes here just a little bit. But you bring up something really interesting. Why does Donald Trump always speak with these people? Like, the name of the book is The Making of Donald Trump and the Breaking of America.
Oh, yeah.
The Breaking of America. And Donald Trump sat down with this woman 3 different times. Why would you do that? You know how she's going to position this. And I got news for you. You're not going to come off well. You have to know that going in, right? Why would you do that? Meanwhile, on MSNBC, their anchor, Stephanie Rule, she hosts a program called The 11th Hour, and her and all of her panelists and all of her guests, they were yucking it up the other night. They were laughing at some good old-fashioned homophobia because Stephanie Rule's panel of guests, which included Nancy Giles from CBS, CNBC's Ron Insana, MSNBC's Liz Plank, and some comedian, Judy Gold. This was the panel. They were making fun of Senator Lindsey Graham. Now, Lindsey Graham, he's not doing himself any favors by trying to push out this federal abortion ban right before the midterms.
Yeah.
It's kind of divided the Republican Party at a really bad time. But what the panel was making fun of was his sexuality.
Why would he even be doing this, right? They overturned Roe v. Wade. So for that portion of their base who wanted that, you got what you wanted. Right. Why do this? Republicans don't even support it across the board. He's dividing Republicans. It's not like you can get white evangelical voters to vote for you twice. And now you're knocking out a ton of other potential voters.
And he's ignoring what happened in Kansas.
Yes.
You know, it's like, come on, people.
And in so many other swing states.
Oh, I know.
Women
and
registering to vote.
The fact that he is telling women what to do with their bodies. He's never seen a vagina. He's never seen a naked woman. And he is telling me.
Someone fact check that.
Right, well, that's
okay, this is a news organization. We don't know that for sure.
Okay,
we do not know that for sure.
I am going to say,
Judy, we would refer to that as an unconfirmed report.
Okay.
So homophobic insults hurled at Lindsey Graham are okay if he's a Republican.
Correct.
I don't care whether he's gay or not. There's been rumors, there's been innuendos. But so because he's a Republican and because he's Lindsey Graham and because he's against abortion, homophobic slurs are allowed? Is that what I'm understanding from this thing that kind of went off the rails?
Whole damn panel was up there laughing and cackling.
Wow.
And who is this awful woman that sounded like, Mrs. Garrett from The Facts of Life? Like, who is she? I mean, come on, people. Girls. Shut up. Sit down. All right, Matt Bear, what's going on?
North side crash, westbound 465 after Meridian 31, left lane blocked. We're backed up to Keystone. Northwest side crash, southbound 465 at 86th Street. Also, the left lane is blocked, and then we are completely stopped on the southwest side, southbound 465 Sam Jones past Man Road. The funeral procession for Richmond officer Sierra Burton, who died in the line of duty, continues to make its way through the east side of Indianapolis on Washington Street in those westbound lanes approaching downtown. They'll go north on Illinois Street up to Crown Hill Cemetery. That is the procession route. Traffic sponsored by Freegie and Freegie Auctioneers. Freegie and Freegie Auctioneers is hosting a public auction on October 8th in Clayton, Indiana. Details at FreegieAuctioneers.com. That's FREIJE Auctioneers.com. License A C312000002. I'm Matt Bear. Follow us on Twitter for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
Coming up at 5:30, Kevin Bowen from our sister station, 107.5 The Fan, will join us. We will recap kind of an ugly Colts game, but a win, and then the big game that's on the horizon. We've got that coming up. But coming up next, we got a feud. We've got some conservative on air quote conservative violence. Okay. We'll tell you what that's about coming up in just a moment. 67 at the American Standard Cooling Weather Center at 93 WIBC.
This is a call to the self-starters, to the self-made, and the self-sufficient. It's time to declare a new kind of independence. Because Edelman Financial Engines is here to provide tailored investment solutions for your kind of wealthy. You should expect more from your wealth advisors. Our investment management approach is based on Nobel Prize-winning research, and our planners don't sell products to earn commissions. And because we're here for those who question the answers, we model more than 38,000 securities so we can better stress test your portfolio through thousands of scenarios. So no matter where you're going next, see what we can build for you. Call 888-899-4450. That's 888-899-4450. Or visit EFEWealthPlanners.com to get your complimentary financial plan. Edelman Financial Engines. Built for those who built themselves.
I have energy efficient Window Nation windows installed in my house. They look great. They've been saving me on energy bills for a couple of years now. And look, it's football season. Window Nation is the halftime show. And you could score new windows from Window Nation at half the price. Pay nothing with no interest until 2025 exclusively from Window Nation. You want to get in on this now. Get in before the holidays.
Check out this deal. Buy 2 windows, get 2 for free. Any style of window from Window Nation, and there's no limit. You want to buy 4, you get 4 for free. You want to buy 10, you get 10 for free. And here's the best part. You don't pay anything until 2025. No payments, no down payments, no interest, nothing, nada, zip. What are you waiting for? Even if you're just thinking about getting windows, start with a phone call right now to lock this deal in. 866-90-NATION. That's 866-90-NATION. Or go to windownation.com and tell them Hammer and Nigel sent you.
Innovation in cancer treatment doesn't just bring a new level of care. It brings a new level of hope. At Community Health Network MD Anderson Cancer Center, we're providing access to even more potentially groundbreaking Phase 1 clinical trials to our communities. And any one of them could lead to the next big breakthrough, setting us all on a path to eliminating the disease once and for all. Learn more about Community MD Anderson at ecommunity.com/cancer.
Diamonds Direct's unbelievable zero-interest finance offer is coming to a close, but you have until this Sunday to take advantage of 5 years zero-interest financing on any purchase. Now more than ever, it's the smartest way to buy. You can get that engagement ring or fabulous piece of designer jewelry and spread your payments over 5 years without paying a dime in interest. This amazing offer is good through this weekend only. Diamonds Direct, your love, our passion. Get all the details, including special Sunday hours, at diamondsdirect.com on approved credit.
This hour on 93 WIBC, powered by Family Heating and Air Conditioning, your independent American Standard air dealer in Indianapolis.
Got ourselves a little feud happening, Hammer. I like this. The liberal meltdown of the illegal aliens being sent to Martha's Vineyard continues. First of all, they say that, even Jared Kushner, Trump's guy, I think he was on Fox News last week saying, we can't use these people, they're human beings, for political pawns. And by the way, just a side note, I think that's coming from Trump as a sort of a side shot to Governor DeSantis.
But it could be Kush, because I never thought Kush or Ivanka were conservative to begin with.
Right. So, but it's not like, they're telling these immigrants, these illegal immigrants, hey, look, we're going to a sanctuary city. We're going to put you up there. It's going to be nicer than anything you've ever seen. It's better than the semi-tractor trailer you rode in, last weekend with a loaf of bread to survive, and people are going to take care of you. It's a sanctuary city. I don't think there's anything wrong with what he did, and especially some of these border towns in Texas that can't sustain all the influx, the thousands of illegal immigrants coming across the border every day. I saw one clip of how the shelters are so overrun on border towns that the illegals are sleeping on the street. They have like piles and piles of clothes that they choose from, blankets and jackets. They're having to sleep on the street. So, anything they can do to alleviate the pressure, I say more power to them. But this is amazing. The CNN, did you see the CNN clip with fake conservative Anna Navarro?
I love they consider her their conservative voice on CNN, Anna Navarro. What a joke.
So CNN had this Hispanic conservative's name's Abe Enriquez. He really, really ticked off CNN's Anna Navarro by defending DeSantis, Governor DeSantis of Florida, for flying the illegals to Martha's Vineyard. Here you go.
Look, what the governor did was offer transportation for migrants who were homeless and needed refuge. And it was voluntary basis, right? The governor's office has released the waivers both in English and in Spanish. But the frustration that we're hearing from people in Texas, specifically South Texas, is how the media is making this a big deal just because it comes from a wealthy city like Martha's Vineyard, when hardly no conversations being had of Tucson, Arizona, El Paso, Brownsville, Harlingen, Eagle Pass, which, by the way, we don't get 50 migrants a day. We get thousands. So what we're talking about and what we're saying is it's easy to have empathetic values or insights to open border and weak border policies if you live in the Upper East Side of Manhattan or Malibu. But these are our communities and these are our resources that are being strained. And all we're asking for is for other states, which, by the way, have sanctuary city laws, to start picking up their weight in this crisis that we have caused by the lack of attention from our president.
There's a poker term called calling the bluff.
Yeah.
And that's what a lot of folks have done here with the border situation. You want to call yourself a sanctuary city? You want to talk about how progressive you are? Well, here you go. Here's 50 migrants at your door. Here's 50 up here in New York. Here's 50 at D.C. You asked for this. We're just doing supply and demand. You wanted the supply. We've got the demand at the border.
And you could just see Anna Navarro from CNN, her eyes spun back into her head, or steam coming out of her ears. Here is her response.
Frankly, Abraham, I don't know how you as a Mexican American, and I don't know how you can, with a straight face, say that what the governor was simply offering was transportation. Please don't be so cynical. It's a little early in the morning. You know damn well that it was much more than that. Yes, he's trying to bring attention to the crisis on the border, and he's trying to do it through a political stunt by sending these two blue states, blue cities. Let's call it what it is. It is a political...
You're Hispanic. How dare you have an opposing thought of what's going on?
Is Anna Navarro the voice of the official Hispanic community?
Stunt. And please don't use your Hispanic last name to come on here and try to,
what are you
justify
doing?
this as just offering transportation. If it had been offering transportation, it didn't need to go to a Republican donor. He didn't need to pay more than 3-4 times the amount that it would have cost. He could have simply called the Office of Refugee Resettlement. There are actual organizations in the United States that do this and are funded to do this without this type of thing. The one who wants the media attention is Ron DeSantis.
How dare you use your last name to espouse an opinion that differs from mine? I mean, these immigrants hit the lottery, man. I'm sorry. I mean, they came over. They were trafficked, most likely, survived border, crossing the Rio Grande, trafficked in 150-degree semi-tractor trailers for a week, living off a loaf of bread. And then Anna Navarro is playing identity politics.
Right. And Enriquez lives down by the border.
Yeah.
That's where he's from. He's near Eagles Pass, Texas. So he understands what's going on here. And for Anna Navarro to say it was a political stunt, I love how everybody on the left now was like, well, that was a political stunt. You know what else was a political stunt? When Joe Biden, on his first day in office and during his first 100 days, basically took back every single thing Donald Trump had done at the border. It was a political stunt to open up the border. It's a political stunt when all of these people die at the border because of Joe Biden's policies. That's a political stunt. But these people like Anna Navarro, they don't say a damn thing about that.
Want to do some legal stuff?
Please.
Yeah, here we go.
Crime, punishment, judges, legal stuff.
Oh, this involves one of my kids' favorite places to go during the summer, Dairy Queen.
I love Dairy Queen.
Oh, wow. The U.S. Department of Labor fining 11 Dairy Queens franchise locations, including one in Indy, for violating child labor laws. The Indy store is on North Meridian, 9040 North Meridian. The working hours and time standards for 102 employees aged 14 and 15 at Dairy Queen stores at various Fort Wayne locations and a few others, including the one Indy store. So basically they're way over on the hours they're allowed to work when you're that age, 14, 15 years old. Right?
H&H Coldwater LLC. This is a Fort Wayne based operator, and there's a bunch of Fort Wayne locations that have been fined here. Just one in Indianapolis. But listen, man, I'm not saying that what happened was good. You can't be working kids to the bone. But if the kids wanted to work and nobody else is taking these jobs, is it really the end of the world? I know the law's the law. I get that. But these poor Dairy Queen franchise owners, they're probably short on staff. It's either close or maybe have somebody work some OT.
My kid, he's almost 11. He would go work right now 10 hours a day. And when he's itching to go out and get a job and work. It doesn't matter whether it's McDonald's or Chick-fil-A. I have a relative, my nephew works at Chick-fil-A. He loves it. It's a great place to work. And if you're 14 or 15, I mean, back in the day, my dad coming up in his age, my dad's in his mid to late 60s now. He would have killed to make all that money. What was the minimum wage in 1975? $1.50 an hour or whatever it was. But I don't if your job is being threatened and you're saying no, even though you're 14 years old, you got to work a 12-hour day. That's something completely different. I think, right? Don't you? I mean, you'd agree with that, right?
Right. If these kids were like, I really don't want to work, and this boss was making them do it or threatening to fire them, that's one thing. But, man, when I was 14 or 15, I got all the energy in the world. If it's the summertime and I don't really have much else going on, I'll work.
We got to find out what the deal with the Colts is. I mean, they won. Big win over Kansas City, one of the better teams in the NFL. But it doesn't feel – I don't feel good about it.
I don't feel good about that offensive line at all. And we're going to talk to Kevin Bowen, who does the morning show on our sister station, 107.5 The Fan, Kevin and Query. We'll have a little breakdown of the Colts win and a big game coming up. That's coming up next right now. Let's take a look at the news.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
She died while wearing the badge. Partly cloudy, 66 with a clear radar. Temperatures drop to 45 tonight. I'm Harrison Silcox. Here's what's trending at 5:29. Sierra Burton, the Richmond police officer who was shot in August, was remembered this morning during a service at Richmond High School.
If it is your goal to honor Sierra, you must not leave here today with a heart full of anger and sadness. To do that would be the opposite of the way Sierra lived her life.
Richmond Mayor David Snow. Burton died September 18th.
Some call this the weight of the badge. I can tell you that this badge has never weighed heavier than it does today.
Lieutenant Donnie Benedict. Burton will be buried at Crown Hill Cemetery today. More people on Florida's Gulf Coast are being told to leave their homes in advance of Hurricane Ian. Evacuations have been ordered for low-lying areas of the state, including in Sarasota County. There's also mandatory evacuation in effect for parts of Manatee County. The storm could hit Florida's west coast Wednesday. The White House is proposing rules to make airline fees more transparent.
We still have too many situations where passengers, you think you're getting a low fare, you think you're getting a great deal, but it wasn't obvious what the fees were that you could expect.
Transportation Secretary and former South Bend Mayor Pete Buttigieg said passengers deserve to know the full true cost of their flights before they buy tickets, choose their seats, check baggage, and other add-ons. A drunk driver was arrested Saturday night in Zionsville. John Herrick has the story.
Police say a man named Timothy Kennedy was driving a truck and it went off a county road and it rolled 3 times. When officers got there, they say they saw Kennedy trying to run away, but they caught and arrested him. The 2 passengers that were in his truck survived, but they had to be taken to a hospital with injuries. John Herrick, 93, WIBC Mobile News.
You may have already seen an increase in gas prices today, and that's no coincidence.
We had wholesale price hikes in the U.S.
Oil and gas analyst Trilby Lundberg with the Lundberg Survey. She says refinery outages and routine maintenance are why prices have gone up. With traffic at 5:31, here's Matt Baer.
Harrison, the funeral procession for Richmond officer Sierra Burton has reached Crown Hill Cemetery at 34th Street and 34th Street and Boulevard Place. It's just west of Meridian. So Illinois Street, you could safely expect backup still on Illinois Street, the northbound one-way through downtown, not to mention Washington Street and the westbound lanes. Right now, north side, westbound 465, it's a crash after Meridian 31. Left lane blocked and traffic is backed up to Keystone Avenue. East side, southbound 465, jams before 70 down to 74. And on the west side, southbound 465, stopped after Washington 2-Man Road. Traffic sponsored by Drexel Interiors. Go where the pros go. Drexel Interiors for Timberlake Kitchen and Bath Cabinets. Visit Drexel's Design Centers at 146th Street and River Road or on North Shadeland, DrexelIM.com. I'm Matt Baer. Follow us on Twitter for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
And here's the forecast from the American Standard Cooling Weather Center.
We're in for a chilly night tonight with winds calming down a bit, lows falling into the mid-40s, and Tuesday another marvelous fall-like afternoon with a few passing clouds and breezy winds, highs in the low to mid-60s. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Stephen Deanna for 93 WIBC.
And I'm Harrison Silcox, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
You're listening to the Hammer and Nigel Show on 93 WIBC.
My name is Nigel. Jason Hammer is here. We'll go to the drivehubler.com hotline and bring on Kevin Bowen from 107.5 The Fan, KB. The Colts beat a pretty good team yesterday at home at Lucas Oil, but I was watching that game. I feel like the Chiefs actually lost that game more than the Colts won the game. Do you agree with that assessment?
That's probably accurate. Having said that, just because you watch someone puke doesn't mean you stare at the puke. You help them clean up the puke. And
I love it. Okay, I did not know that was going to puke right there. That's why. That's why we like having you on for this analysis here.
Yeah, maybe that's a little too graphic of a visual, but whatever.
Not for our audience, no.
I figured that. The Colts did their part in making sure that if the gifts were to be handed to them, they still could win the game, with those gifts. Like the Chris Jones penalty late in the game that kept the game-winning drive alive. If the Colts are down 2 scores in that moment, that penalty probably doesn't matter all that much. But because their defense hung in there, and Patrick Mahomes' teams rarely get held to 20 or 17 points in a game, kudos to the Colts defense. Did Kansas City make some awful kicking decisions, execution? Sure. Did they have a huge muff punt early in the game? The Jones penalty, Kelsey out of drop? Yes, there are tons of reasons why Kansas City lost that game. But when you're a winless football team, you shouldn't apologize too much.
Right. It should always feel good when you beat a team like the Kansas City Chiefs, But I do think there's something to what Nige said here, Kevin. If you're a fan and you watch this game from the kickoff until the final play, you see that Colt offensive line is really bad. And they're getting paid a lot of money to be good. They're the 180 of that. They're awful right now. There was that 15-yard penalty late in the game that kept the drive going for the Colts. There were some muffed punts that kept things rolling for the Colts. So, yeah, I mean, we should be excited as fans that the Colts won this game against a damn good team and a generational quarterback like Mahomes. But, boy, there were some ugly parts of this game, if you're a fan, that have not been cleaned up yet for the Colts.
Yeah, and that's probably a good way to summarize it, Hammer. Again, you can sit here and be happy that the Colts won. I mean, hell, it's better than the alternative. But also, and especially up there on West 56th Street at the team complex, you better be critical in your evaluation, because the 60-minute effort, the 60-minute performance by the Colts yesterday will not get them to 9 wins or whatever, 10 wins, however many wins that will be needed to win the AFC South. And it, like you said, it starts with your offensive line. I put some of it as well on Matt Ryan. I think there's a lack of awareness from him that I didn't think we'd see from a 14-year veteran, whether that's pocket awareness, whether that's pre-snap awareness, where free rushers are coming from. You got Matt Ryan to avoid stupid plays and to be smart at the line of scrimmage. I don't feel like the Colts have gotten that, at least to the degree that they were expecting. So, again, you need better from him. Ryan Kelly needs better, and just your individual offensive linemen need better. They are paid as the highest paid offensive line in the NFL, and they have not sniffed that return on investment this season.
Hey, go back to the end of the game. We mentioned the unsportsmanlike penalty against the Kansas City Chiefs, where one of the players, was he trash talking Matt Ryan or something? Is that what happened that ended up keeping that Colts drive alive? Do we know what he said?
So the phrase is abusive language. Interpret that as you will. I have never seen that penalty called from a verbal standpoint. When you see unsportsmanlike calls, it's usually some shoving.
Yeah.
It's usually maybe a taunting penalty of a player standing over another player. I didn't really see any of that. We had Jeff Saturday on our morning show today. Jeff Saturday said he's never seen it, ever seen it. And frankly, Jeff Saturday thought it was ridiculous, thought that there is, and a guy, obviously Jeff doesn't know what was said, but Jeff's like, guys are way too emotional during the game to call that penalty at that time, especially of the game. This is me, obviously, just guessing here, but there had to be some sort of slur said. I don't even remember the official coming on the mic at some point in the game and being like, hey, 95 has been warned for, whatever, some verbal unsportsmanlike. If he does it again, there will be a penalty. Sometimes you do see that during a game, but you didn't see it in that moment. I did find it interesting that Chris Jones, the guy who had the penalty, he was mad, but it's not like Andy Reid, which would have been a sight to see, frankly. It's not like Andy Reid was chasing after the officials after the game. It's not like you saw those moments. So for as much as the penalty necessarily shouldn't have been called, Kansas City didn't complain as much as I would have complained if I would have been them.
Right. If the old movie Bull Durham, the baseball movie, has taught us anything, there are certain words or phrases that can get you kicked out. And in today's NFL landscape, where they let you say in quite a bit, there are a few words that will get you thrown out, or at least a flag tossed. And I think that's what happened yesterday.
Yeah, he certainly said the magic word, or words, I guess. I would also point out this. The head official threw the flag. I'd be curious if that would have happened in the secondary. Does the back judge think he has the clout to throw that flag? Because, let's be honest, guys. If that flag doesn't get thrown, the Colts lose the game.
Yep. Right.
There's 5 minutes to go in the game. The Colts hadn't forced a punt in 5 drives. Kansas City's either going to run out the clock, they're going to get in scoring position, they're going to do something, unless they would have muffed another punt or whoever else, something else probably would have been gifted. But that was just such a critical penalty by really one of their star players.
Hey, did I see, we're speaking with Kevin Bowen, 107.5 The Fan, did I see the Colts actually convert a 4th down play?
Yeah.
Am I imagining that?
Well, it's the old blind squirrel finds a nut right in the forest every once and again. Third time's the charm on 4th and 1. And you know what? I thought for a second Jacoby Brissett was doing his QB sneak impression.
Right.
There. It was Matt Ryan on the QB sneak. And honestly, this goes back to Hammer's question about the O-line. You know, Jonathan Taylor, they had a 4th and 1 where Taylor jumped from about 3 yards behind the line of scrimmage. And you know what? I think he had to, because Kansas City's D-line just took the Colts offensive line and moved them 2 yards back on that play. It's such an issue for this football team right now when you get into short yardage and you can't turn around and give it to Taylor and feel confident about it because your offensive line can't control the trenches.
I mean, one of the defensive guys, I mean, I watched one of those plays. One of those ends came around. He wasn't touched. I mean, he could have used a walker and just kind of slowly trudged his way up to Matt Ryan and tackled him. What happened? What is going on with this line? What needs to be fixed?
You know, I'll go back to something I said earlier again. Free rushers, just way too many free rushers. It's one thing to, like, allow a free rusher. If you're going to allow that, you need to make sure that you know where that ball's going quick. And again, that's what you brought Matt Ryan here for. Carson Wentz's inability to identify, process, and take advantage of those situations is what doomed the Colts last season. You know, honestly, when a free rusher comes, what does that mean? That means that you have an advantage somewhere else. It's just simple math. So you've got to find that, and that's where Ryan, of 14 years of NFL experience, over 10,000 pass attempts, like that's where he is supposed to help you out. So, yes, there's some of it on the O-line. But again, we had Saturday on earlier today, and he pretty much said that how they handled offensive line stuff before the snap with Peyton was Jeff Saturday would set the line protection himself, and then Peyton would have the ability to overrule him at the line of scrimmage. Frank Reich gives full autonomy to his quarterback. I assume that's the same for Matt Ryan. That's something that we need to ask Reich, but that's certainly an issue right now.
Kevin Bowen with us, 107.5 The Fan, does the morning show, Kevin and Query. All right, so as much as we've made fun of the AFC South, they were 3-0 yesterday against the AFC West, and now we got a big one coming up this weekend, KB.
Boy, I know, and I think I joked with you last week, you know, the AFC South should be on True TV like the random March Madness games, and they certainly told me to shut up with that performance yesterday. This one is vital on Sunday. It's Tennessee, and not to get into the math of it, but math-wise, you would rather beat Tennessee than beat Kansas City last week because you've already squandered 2 opportunities in the division. To me, you can't afford to squander many more, and you got to think that Tennessee and Jacksonville will be there with you late in the year. So this one is massive. If you expand out the schedule the next 4 weeks, you'll face Tennessee. You'll have Denver on a short week, and then in back-to-back weeks, you'll see Jacksonville and Tennessee in consecutive games. So you're about to play 5 divisional games in your first 7. You've already missed out on 2 of those chances. You can't afford to miss out on many, if any more.
Where can we get a full breakdown of yesterday's game and a preview of Sunday?
Yeah, again, we'll be on air tomorrow, 7 a.m. Kevin and Query over on our sister station. That's 107.5 The Fan. And then for all of our written content, 1075thefan.com. Got a couple articles up recapping yesterday's first win of the season.
KB, you're the best. Thank you.
Yep, enjoy it, guys. Thank you.
It's the Hammer and Nigel Show.
Chantilly engagement ring, Caspian sapphire and diamond wedding band, Venus ruby and diamond wedding band. You've got to come to Shane Company to see our uniquely designed rings. Our in-house design team travels the world for inspiration to bring you stunning new styles in every price range. Try on any ring, hold it in your hand and feel its weight. Look closely at it. You'll be amazed with the design and the details. A Shane Company ring looks gorgeous from every angle. Choose from a range of engagement ring styles, from timeless classic rings to decorative floral rings, in platinum, yellow gold, white gold, and our lovely signature shade of rose gold. You'll see our team's passion for beautiful design when you look at our wedding bands as well. The largest selection of high-quality bands for everyone and every budget. Your rings are a symbol of your everlasting love. Visit the store or shop online to find the perfect rings for you.
Now you have a friend in the jewelry business. Shane Company and ShaneCo.com.
Hammer here for Indy's hometown sportsbook, Bet Rivers. Bet Rivers, Indiana. The line is out. Big game coming up on Sunday. The Titans at the Colts. The line is out. The Colts are a 3-point home favorite against the Titans. Over under set at 42.5. I'm telling you, early bird always gets the worm. If you like those numbers, jump on it right now at Bet Rivers, Indiana. If you don't have the app, download it immediately. iPhone or Android, Bet Rivers, Indiana. The best numbers you will see all week are usually early on. Now, if you want to wait until the weekend and check out the promotions, well, you can do that too. Because every Saturday and Sunday during football season, college football, and the NFL, Bet Rivers gives you, the player, the opportunity for profit boosts, for parlay fun, for free bets. I'm telling you, a lot of these places, they only cater to the new users. Bet Rivers hooks up those that come back and play all the time. And that's why I keep going back to Bet Rivers, Indiana. Make sure you get those bets in. Win the most money with Bet Rivers. Must be a resident of Indiana, 21 and over, and if you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-9-WITH-IT.
Need to beat inflation? Golden Oak Lending is here to help.
Inflation has credit card balances at an all-time high. Why pay up to 25% interest when Golden Oak can pay off that debt at 4.75% fixed?
Our low mortgage rates make you the winner.
Call 317-706-GOLD to lock in your 4.75% rate today.
Golden Oak Lending, cured my blues.
NMLS 114937. 4.75% fixed, 5.929% APR. FHA 15-year mortgage with 20% equity and approved credit.
There's nothing more important than time. Time for you and time for family. If issues like high blood pressure or high cholesterol run in your family, make time for highly skilled heart care too. At Indiana University Health, you can book a same-day appointment with the state's most preferred provider of cardiovascular care. See a top cardiologist today, then get back to what's most important without skipping a beat. Visit iuhealth.org/heart to book your appointment today.
Staples stores are a new world of possible with innovative tools for small business and remote workers and learners. Explore more at your local Staples store or staplesconnect.com.
Friendly reminder to change your filter. Head on over to our website at familyhvac.net for some of the best pricing on filters around.
Family Heating and Air is your trusted local independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
Matt Bear has a look at the roads.
All right, looking at westbound 465 on the north side, that is still stopped from Keystone Avenue past Meridian Street because of a crash blocking the left lane. This has 31 jammed up on the southbound side from 111th Street. Now, the funeral procession for fallen police officer Sierra Burton from Richmond has reached Crown Hill Cemetery. You might still expect a delay on Illinois Street, that northbound one-way up to 34th and Boulevard, but also West Washington Street is still stop and go due to the traffic from the procession earlier. Traffic sponsored by Drexel Interiors. Go where the pros go. Drexel Interiors for Timberlake Kitchen and Bath Cabinets. Visit Drexel's Design Centers at 146th Street and River Road or on North Shadeland, drexelin.com. I'm Matt Bear. Follow us on Twitter for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
67 at the American Standard Cooling Weather Center at 93 WIBC.
I do. I mean, if you missed any of that conversation we just had with Kevin Bowen from 107.5 The Fan, that was fascinating. Had some good takes on the Colts win yesterday, even though it wasn't pretty. And I just hope the Colts demolish Tennessee this Sunday.
It's funny how quickly you go from 0 to 60, because I get text from you throughout the game. I hope they lose by 50, and now all of a sudden, I hope they beat the Titans by 50.
But it's only because I even texted you after they got after the Kansas City Chiefs got that 15-yard penalty at the end to keep the Colts on the field. Remember what I texted you after that?
I hope the Colts still lose.
It's a really crazy, irrational, passionate Colts fan I am. But no, the reason I want the Colts to win next week is because our producer, Megamondo.
Right.
Our producer's a huge Titans fan for whatever reason.
And he's a big dumb idiot, too.
He's from Whiteland, for God's sake.
The time that he went to the Emmis suite and put on the Titans jersey after we told him, no, don't do that, because one, it makes you look like a dummy, and number two, there may be people in the sales department selling the Colts, and you're up there in our suite in a Titans jersey, you stupid ass.
Not to mention he's representing us.
Right.
Oh, look, Hammer and Nigel's producer. Oh, he's here in the Titans.
Big, loud, obnoxious guy that nobody wants to sit around.
Yeah, exactly. I'm sure he's being so obnoxious to our then boss's boss, who always sits in the suite.
Right.
We worked for Emmis Communications, Pat Walsh.
Like sometimes when you get a work perk, that doesn't mean you have to go up there like a fan and take your shirt off and body paint. Yeah. You're still there on a work type of environment.
He's like Putty in Seinfeld when he goes to the hockey game. The Devils! The Devil! The Titans! The Titans!
You can't tell him anything, too, because we told him ahead of time, don't be a moron, and he was a moron anyway.
So that's why I want the Colts to win, is so we can bash and make fun of and rub it in Mondo's face come next Monday afternoon when we get here.
Learn some life skills, kid.
You really think Mega Mondo at his age, when he's still, a semi-pro wrestler here in the local circuit, he has any life skills whatsoever?
All right, let's start with wearing sleeves to work. Wear some sleeves to work, kid.
You heard us come in with Red Hot Chili Peppers. The Chili Peppers, who I believe were down in Louisville I think yesterday, playing a big music festival. They got a new album coming out next month, and they got a tribute to Eddie Van Halen. They got a song about Eddie Van Halen, who died of cancer in 2020. And last week they released that song. It's called Eddie. Here is a little piece of that.
You don't remember me. It's only 1980. It's only 1983.
It's definitely a Chili Pepper song.
Right,
sure.
My love, but leave me never. Can't complain about the weather. Snowing at the Rainbow.
Does Flea still wear the sock on his crotch?
Sometimes he doesn't even bother with the sock. That's still a thing with those guys. They go on stage and play naked. The new Chili Peppers album, Return of the Dream Canteen, will be out middle of next month. My name is Nigel. Jason Hammer right over there. We're back for another hour on the Hammer and Nigel show after 6 o'clock.
Excellence is never an accident. It is always the result of high intention, sincere effort, and intelligent execution. It represents the wise choice of many alternatives. Choice, not chance, determines your destiny. Aristotle said that. The Singer Financial Team embodies it so your family can live it. This is Brian Singer. Great things in business are never done by one person. They're done by a team of people.
This is Erica Baker, advisor and team member with Singer Financial. Our clients expect excellence from their financial advisory team. At Singer Financial, our mission is to be the last financial team your family will ever need or want. We understand that requires a deep level of engagement and trust. At Singer Financial, we take the time to get to know you, to understand what you need, and also what you want from your investments. We can help provide answers to the questions you may not even know to ask. That means we don't really have clients. We have relationships with people, relationships with couples, relationships with families who deserve excellence. Feeling valued and trusted by your family is the most rewarding aspect of what we do. That's why our team is committed to excellence. Excellence is what you should expect when you choose to partner with Singer Financial.
The Singer Financial Team has developed and refined a proprietary process designed to help people who are still working create a work-optional lifestyle. We call it the RIM. The Retirement Income Money Map looks at 5 key areas of your financial life and then informs your choices to design a lifestyle as unique as you are. The RIM process puts all the pieces of the puzzle together to increase your chances to live the lifestyle you've imagined for your retirement.
Our team can help make your money live as long as you do. Go to singerfinancialgroup.com to explore the RIM process or call 317-852-9153 to schedule a virtual or in-office discovery visit.
Investment advisory services offered through registered investment advisors Howard Bailey Securities, LLC, and AU Wealth Management, LLC.